What a moment for the Blue Jays. What a moment for Nathan Lucas. What a much-needed hit right there.
On Sports 1440.
Matthias Yaremchuk has tied at one.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line. And the ball is caught. Caught. It's a miracle. It's double brown. Oh, my goodness. This town is going crazy. It's a madhouse in Landover, Maryland. Who did it?
Well, a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Anywhere you're watching, listening, maybe download the app. We appreciate it. Radio Player, iHeartRadio. Thanks, as always, for being part of the show or allowing us to be part of your day. Never take it for granted. So thanks for listening. Thanks in advance. Those are going to text in the show, share their thoughts at 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And tonight, $30 million gold ball jackpot. Lotto 649. Get your tickets to PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, if you're looking about the Jays are done for the day. They got a win finally. Slayed the dragon known as the Baltimore Orioles, who give Toronto all sorts of trouble in Baltimore. And the Jays squeak out a 9-8 victory. And hey, at this, it doesn't matter. Obviously, they've been giving up a lot of runs as of late, although last night in the second half, the doubleheader, they didn't. But they've given up a lot of runs lately. And they did make the trade yesterday to acquire Dominguez. He came in. He struck out 2 batters of his first 3, so that was good. And now the Jays will wait. The MLB trade deadline is tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So basically just under 26 hours for now. We've had a few trades today. The Yankees got Austin Slater from the White Sox for right-handed pitcher Gage Zeal. The Braves get a pitcher in Tyler Kinley for Austin Smith. The LA Angels get to Luis Garcia and left-handed pitcher Andrew Chaffin from the Nationals for Jake Eder and Sam Brown. And the Cincinnati Reds receive third baseman Cabrian Hayes, and the Pirates will get pitcher Taylor Rogers and short Sammy Stabura. So Hayes, who comes, he's a very good defensive third baseman. I think he's got he leads MLB in defensive runs saved. Man, they got stats for everything in MLB. So he's very good at the hot corner. And the Reds, who are it's an interesting team. The Reds aren't out of it by any stretch of the imagination in the NL. You look the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Cubbies, the Phillies, all fairly comfortable. But then you look at the Reds, they are 3 games out of it. And obviously they're going to go for it. They're trying to track down San Diego. So the Reds and maybe the Cards, I guess. I don't know, the Giants. I guess if you're 5 out, you're still not out of it. So I'd probably have to include the Giants in the race. In the NL, you've got, of course, the Tigers, the Jays, the Astros, the Yanks, the Red Sox, the Mariners. Texas Rangers are on fire. Don't look now, but suddenly the Rangers are rolling. And they're suddenly within 1 game of the Mariners. Tampa Bay has they're down to 500. The Rays have really been sliding. So, and at Cleveland, you're 3.5 back, but you're not even a 500 team. I guess theoretically you're in the race, but I can't see how they're really in the race. So we shall see. So we'll talk about some MLB trades with Chelsea Janes joining us later on this hour. Tyler Yaremchuk will be by. We'll have some NHL chatter, which is always fun. Probably a little Jays. Steve Hogle will be by from the Edmonton Riverhawks. Another huge crowd last night for the Riverhawks. And man, look at the weather this week. for the Riverhawks. Think about it. It's 28 degrees in the River Valley. It's beautiful. You sit outside, you have a beer, you have a hot dog. It's unreal, right? The kids have an ice cream cone, catch a few foul balls. It's a great place to watch the game. So look for some Riverhawks action tonight, tomorrow, all the way through to the long weekend. We'll continue our NFL report. We're going to go to Washington to talk about the Commanders as Ben Standig will be by. Also, Spec. And of course, I've teased this a little bit for a few days. But if you consider yourself a pretty big sports fan who would love the opportunity in kind of a unique sports hack that doesn't cost you money to get you as close to the action as possible, we're going to tell you how in the 3 o'clock hour. So I didn't even know this was a thing until last week. Obviously, there's people out there that probably know it's a thing. I didn't, but I found out about it. I thought it was pretty awesome. And I think some of you, because I told a few of my buddies about, hey, and they're like, what? And they were all over it. So I think many of you will be in the same boat. So we'll talk about that coming up at 3 o'clock. We mentioned the Jays finally getting a win, which is much needed for them. Hey, man, like the Jays, and I said it even before when they were rolling, their offense is what's been carrying them. They give up a ton of runs. I think they might be 23rd now in MLB when it comes to runs allowed. Not good. So pitching help. They got one. They need another reliever, and I still think they probably need a fifth starter. I would think maybe, like I like Lauer, right? So you got Lauer. Maybe you don't need a fifth starter, I guess, with Scherzer if you still got Lauer. So maybe not. But definitely another good reliever. Heck, maybe two, to be honest, because that's where they need the help. But even having another depth guy who could be a starter if you need him on certain days, because look, you got Gosman, you got Barrios, who's been okay. Max Scherzer, and you know what? His last outing actually was really good. I know he gave up 3 runs, but man, he was dominant. 11 strikeouts over 7 innings. It was really good, I thought, in that game. Lauer continues to be solid for the Jays. So I don't mind their starting pitching. I still wouldn't be opposed to them going and getting another starter potentially, if need be. It's probably not the biggest one that they need. Varsho is likely to return this weekend for the Jays when they get home. So that's good news for them. Obviously, very good defensively. Strasby, like the guys have filled in, man. That's the thing about the Jays. They're getting contributions from a lot of players. So that helps. But obviously, I think the pitching is right. And I didn't mention Chris Bassett. And Bassett's been all right? He's given up, like his ERA isn't great at 4.24. So it's not ideal, to say the least. So I'm very curious. Cons, what do you think the Jays are going to do in the next 25 hours and change?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, anytime you can add some depth to throughout the lineup goes a long way. I commend them for the effort that we saw today. Just with the heat that they're playing in Baltimore, and then the amount of games. You played 3 games in the last 24 hours, essentially. Fatigue, and you're all going to get tested. Obviously, Vlad gets to move to DH, and we saw an unfortunate play. I think he would have made in that game today, but adding another arm, and I think adding another bat is just something that they kind of have to do. You need to have that depth in the playoffs. And I think also personality matters, because you don't want to maybe interrupt the mojo they got on this team. They got a pretty good thing going, the good core there. And to me, that would be it. I think, if you can add 2 to 3 more players, strength out of the bullpen always goes a long way, especially in the playoffs. We know that. And another, maybe a clutch hitter would be good. So I'd expect the Jays to make a couple moves, and glad they got the win today, because it was going in the wrong direction against those dang Orioles.
It is odd. And this season, I think, perfectly illustrates that. Like, we looked at the White Sox, one of the worst teams in the league, and then they went and swept the Tigers. Like, it's been a wild season in MLB. There's good teams, but there's no dominant teams, right? There's no teams who even have a 600 points percentage. Now, I was looking last year, and the Dodgers were the only team, so it's not out of the realm. They've got some good teams, but there's no like clear cut. Oh my goodness. Remember a few years ago when you had Baltimore and you had the Rays both over 600, you had the Braves, like you had some really dominant teams. Right? But this year, right now, unless somebody gets on a real heater, and like the Jays have been on a heater, but because they started out 26 and 28, they're 582. And that's after they've won, well, for a stretch there, they won 35 of 50, which is outstanding, playing 700 ball. And the closest they got, I think at one point they actually were, before losing 3 straight, I think they were 598. So they were teetering on getting to 600. Hey, Gregor, do you know if the new Oil Kings head coach can help the team win this season? From John in St. Albert. Well, John, I don't think they would have hired him. And by the way, they're going to make that announcement tomorrow that they would have hired him if they didn't think he'd get help them win. So he's got WHL coaching experience. So I think he will help them, and we'll kind of see where it goes from here. But the Oil Kings, hey, they got a little bit of help. Look at some of the players that left. The Oil Kings looked, and Kurt Hill said, "Hey, we're going to go out there," and they made some acquisitions simply because you looked at Medicine Hat. They lost arguably their 2 best players. They're going to be okay, but they're not going to be nearly as dominant. Right? Victoria lost 2 guys. Like there's a few teams that have lost. Now some teams are starting to get guys back. And I know it's funny. When a player leaves to go to NCAA, it's a pretty big story, and all the networks and everybody covers it. And all the American outlets cover it. But then when the players leave NCAA, it's kind of like a little sidebar. I wonder why that is. Right now, I understand why it is, especially in the States. They're trying to promote their own, and they're like, oh my God, the NCAA is now the greatest league ever, and that's where everybody's going to go. And, I read Wyshynski's article on ESPN about how, McKenna is going to change the landscape. McKenna's a late birthday. There's not going to be many first of all, how many 17-year-olds are even done high school? Number one. Right. And honestly, to me, I think you're a player whose draft status, if you're not drafted, could be impacted by you going to NCAA, not getting the playing time you want, playing against older players, and thus not putting up the numbers. Why would you do it? Like Gavin McKenna's in a different boat, right? He's a dominant player. He's played 2.5 years in WHL, played very well. I get it. But for the vast majority of young players, I don't see a big exodus to go there. You might see some, but here's the truth. You're in a good situation. Let's say, I don't care, you're playing in Moose Jaw, you're playing for the Oil Kings, wherever you're playing. The coach. Now another team can tell you what they're going to do and how they're going to play you, but we've seen this time and time again. And I always tell players, and I've told any family I've ever talked to, always tell yourself, as hard as it is, the organization does not care about your career as much as you. They never will. They will tell you, they'll say all the things, but they just don't. They never will. They look out for their program, or in the case of a CHL team, for their organization. It's just how it works. Right? You don't take it personal. That's just the business. So you, as a hockey player, have to look out for what's best for your career. Whatever. And if you think it's best to go in NCAA, okay, great. But then you have to be sure that it's the right thing, and ask a lot of questions, and look around. And like, if I was a player, I wouldn't commit until after the portal is closed, right? Like, to me, it would be foolish. Like, hey, I'm going to announce that I'm going there, and then the portal opens up, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 players sign at the program that you signed with. And now you thought you were a top line player. Now suddenly maybe you're a second line player. Maybe you thought you were a second line player. Now you're a third line player. Right? That changes a lot of things. Right? And it is key to look at the best way to hone your skills. Yes, you need practice time, but you also need to play, because you can't emulate game situations in practice. You just can't. That's why I think goaltenders take longer to develop on average. Because, there's the odd goalie, a junior, who gets to play vast majority of games, but they don't play every game. Right? They just don't. So you're not getting as many reps. You're not getting as many shots. You're not facing all these situations. Now, it's a harder position. Well, not harder is maybe the wrong word. It's one where there's a real mental focus on it. So it takes longer. So now all of a sudden, you go to NCAA. Yes, you might get stronger, but are you reading and reacting to the play better by playing half the amount of games? It'd be a great debate, and I would love to understand and ask scouts what they think about it, and maybe even ask some players who did it. Does playing less, it allows you to get stronger. And like, I think it varies from case to case. If you're a player who's like, man, I got to get stronger, so I need to play less, but work out more and train more. Okay. Makes sense to me. But, and what if you need more time, you're coming off an injury, so you want to play fewer games? There's lots of factors, but you definitely have to look at that. Hey guys, won't the vast majority finish in the WHL at 19 and then move to college? Guys that would normally go to CIS? From Mitchell, it's a good question, Mitchell. I think there's lots of guys who go to CIS normally were 20 and didn't get a scholarship to NCAA. Right now, some of them obviously couldn't go there, so they didn't have an earlier one. And I would think that yes, there will be some players that go for sure, but are all these guys going to leave and go and get to play top minutes at NCAA? Because if you're going to go to the NCAA and be a third line player, right? Or you could be a top line player in CIS. And I actually think I think the CIS is very competitive against NCAA. Anytime the Bears have played them, they've been very good. So I'm just using an example that you go there. And because it changes every year with their portal changes, and you go there to do what? If you really believe you've got a chance at pro, okay, great. And I understand lots of players, some think they're late developers. Like there's a Derek Ryan out there. We don't know who it is, but there is one out there. Happens. I understand it. But when you go to NCAA, and a lot of times the education you're getting, depending on what faculty you're in, isn't transferable. And so if you go there and are going to play 3 years and not finish your degree, then what are you doing? Right? Like you're just kind of spinning your tires in hockey. And then you got to come back and then you got to finish school. So I really wish we could have CIS play NCAA more. I think right now the CIS hasn't marketed themselves nearly as well as NCAA. And I would take the top 10 programs in NCAA and put them against top 10, 5-10 programs in CIS. And I think the top ones would compete very well. Very well. Now, will that change with some 20-year-olds having the potential to go there? Yeah, I think there could be some, no question. Right? But I do, and I've said this for years, that CIS didn't do a good enough job about promoting themselves, because why are so many NCAA players at 23 getting free agent contracts by NHL teams, but not CIS players at the same level? Lots of CIS players would get AHL only deals. You're getting guys that people are like, oh yeah, but he played in NCAA school, and so he signs the contract and he plays 2 games at the NHL because he had to, so he could burn a year of his entry level deal. And guess what? He's an American League player. Because the vast majority are, because it's really hard to be an NHL player. But just look at the difference between how people perceive the NCAA free agent to the CIS free agent. And I put a little bit of that onus on the CIS. Because the teams will still look at CIS players, but they'll sign them to AHL contracts first. 2-way deals to kind of to show what they have. Right? I don't love it. So, and it's going to be way harder now with the opening of NCAA rules. So we'll discuss that and more. Tyler Yaremchuk. We'll talk some hockey. We'll talk some baseball. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks are feeling happy about Adam Sandler Night. Tonight at 7, dress in baggy shorts and oversized tees for Sandler-inspired contests and a Billy Madison-style dodgeball game.
Get your tickets today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
This month in Sports History Moment is brought to you by Discount Diesel Parts.
July 20th, 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks secured their first NBA championship in 50 years. Coming back from a 0-2 start in the finals, the Bucks won 4 straight and defeated the Phoenix Suns 105-98 in Game 6. At the time, Milwaukee and Phoenix were 2 of 5 teams in the league with an active championship drought of 50 years or more. The Suns have yet to win a title since joining the league in 1968.
Hi, folks. This is Big Al from Discount Diesel Parts. It's that time of year again, and whether you're a farmer, a truck driver, or on the hometown team, you need to be ready for the road ahead. We have the quality heavy-duty diesel engine parts to help make it happen, and at a great price, too. Visit discountdiesel.ca to achieve your goals, just like the hometown boys in their quest for the cup. And know that Discount Diesel's got the parts to get it done.
I'm gonna make it bend and break. Say a prayer, but let the good times roll in.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.224. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. Another trade in MLB. The Mets, hey, anytime you can get a submariner, they get Tyler Rogers from the Giants. And we had talked about the Giants earlier. I didn't think they were in the move. The Giants have been brutal here for a while, so they're trading off a guy. The Mets get the submariner right-hander Tyler Rogers from the Giants as a trade deadline in MLB will end tomorrow at 4:00. If you missed it earlier, the Jays finally get a win against their nemesis in Baltimore, squeak out a 9-8 victory this afternoon. They'll take it. They'll take it. Now they'll go home. They get a day off tomorrow, and then they return to action in Toronto on Friday as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, and the heat is on. It's a hot wave right now, so stop in. $2 Sundays, $2 snack size milkshakes, and even better, plan ahead. Download the McDonald's app, and you can get $1 cones exclusively through the app. Take the neighborhood kids, $5. You got 5 cones. They'll be cooling off only at McDonald's. As Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Greggs, how are you?
Hey, I'm excellent. We got a few people wondering, what's the donation to be a seat filler at Yaremchuk's wedding from Lance?
I should have done something like that. Would have been a good way to recuperate the cost. I looked at mine and Amber's joint credit card bill for the month, and I was like, oh, God, that's not good.
Oh, love it. Well, hey, you get married. Is it this weekend you're getting married or next weekend?
Saturday. It's coming up. A couple days.
Oh, geez. So you'll probably go out Thursday night for one final, because it doesn't matter how long you've been with your fiance. There's always still a little bit of nerves. So good luck with that. It's always fun. It's a good time. So hopefully Amber shows up, right? That's really all you have to worry about at this point.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of the only major concern for me. That'd be an awkward explanation if she doesn't. But no, it's good. We're excited. We're kind of putting finishing touches on stuff. So I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I can and see the fun and kind of everything we're doing in some of the little tasks.
Nice. I wrote an article today at Orders Nation, just came out live about the Orders, thinking outside the box, because the NHL doesn't. And the one example I found was Kevin Labanc. There's not a lot of them. But I came up with the example where if you're looking to gain an advantage, cap space is the advantage in the NHL, right? That's just the advantage. And so a lot of people think, hey, McDavid's going to sign a 4-year deal at 16.4, whatever the number is. So I said, well, they could, because the salary cap in the first year of his deal will be $104 million, and then it jumps up all the way up to $13 million. So a pretty significant jump. And at that point, Draisaitl, Bouchard, all the other big guys are signed, right? So there's not a lot of other guys getting big raises at that point. And so I said, what if the Oilers get creative and McDavid says, hey, I'm going to sign a 1-year extension next month at $14.5 million. So he's still the highest paid guy in the league. And then he waits until January of 27 and he signs the extension for 3 years, and it's $17 million. And when the cap space goes up, because his current deal when he signed it, his percentage of cap was actually 16.6%. So even if it goes up to 17, it's only 15%. It would actually be 14% for that 1-year deal. And it saves you about $2 million. He's still going to make the same amount of money over 4 years, but you're just using a legal loophole, which the San Jose Sharks did with Kevin Labanc when he signed after scoring 56 points, he signed a 1-year deal for $1 million. And then the next summer, after only scoring 33, he still signed a $4.7 million deal for 4 years. So would you ever do it?
I love the logic, and I am all for getting more creative. And I think it's something the Oilers absolutely need to do, honestly, with a bunch of contracts, if they're going to keep this window extended as the big money guys start to get their raises, or I should say their raises start to kick in. If I had to try poke some holes in it, what if next season doesn't go well and you're then sitting there going like, oh boy, Connor McDavid's into a contract year? There's a lot of outside noise that comes with it, because it's not like the Oilers could sit there, announce the 1-year deal, and then just at the press conference be like, don't worry, fans, he's signing another extension in January of 2027. And would McDavid himself want all that noise? Like, that would be a little bit out of character for him to kind of like go along with a plan like that.
Fair. I just look at it this way. He could go out and sign. He goes, I'm signing a 1-year deal to give us cap flexibility. And I've crunched the numbers. This gives us cap flexibility. And it's like, what? No, there's no but. That's why I'm doing it. And I'm committed to Edmonton long-term. This just gives us the best cap flexibility.
Wouldn't there be an easier way of just loading it into deferred money, kind of like what Carolina did with a couple of contracts?
Yeah, but deferred money is, you could, in theory, lower the cap overall. But remember, now, I don't know, because of the new CBA, I'm having differing reports. Some people tell me that the new CBA, well, it starts September 15th. Some of the rules will be implemented on July 1st. So I've had multiple reports on that one of differing. So, because remember, you're not allowed on the new one to do that. Now, you could do it this summer. You're right, if you wanted to. And you would need a high-end guy, and maybe he's willing, and maybe your owner's willing to do it. So that could work, but you have to do it at a significant number to make it work, right? And so that way he's kind of taking money later, because the advantage that the Oilers possess right now that everybody always overlooks, everybody always talks about, the no state tax, yada, yada. Leon Draisaitl just got his new contract, and he made $15 million on July 1st. And he only makes $1 million in the year. So you put that money in the bank and you just do the interest in our head, 5%, right, over the year, and it's 7.5% after taxes, whatever. Do the percentage on that, right? He's making more money. than he would be if you put in a little bit, $1 million a month kind of thing. So if you ask a guy to defer it, I think you probably have to pay him more to do it. In this case, you don't have to pay him anymore. He's making the same amount of money.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Again, I think it would take a lot for McDavid to be willing to sign up for that. But your idea of he comes out and just says, I'm doing this in the name of cap flexibility. I care about winning that much on a year to year. I'm sure people could read between the lines enough. I still think it's going to end up being a 4 or 5 year deal for him, just straight up, and probably around 16, 17 million or something like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But I mean, the Canes have done it a couple times with deferred money, and I guess there are like certain things that need to line up to make it possible, but I've just always been curious why more teams didn't try at least to do that with players in the last couple summers.
Well, it's because it's the NHL, dude. Like the NHL historically in lots of ways, because there'll be a lot of people saying, well, Gregor, this is a different idea, so I just don't like it. Right? People, that's why they're called inventions, because no one ever thought about it. And people, lots of inventions got ripped on. We go back through the history of time when people thought about it, wow, that's a dumb idea. And then years later, oh, geez, that was actually a really good idea. So do I think they're going to do it? No, but the creativity is there. And it's not a massive, I know some people say, well, you're only saving $2 million. I'm like, only $2 million is a lot in a cap world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when you just think about, let's say that in their cap picture with the plan Bowman has, he goes, all right, next summer I can afford a $6 million defenseman to add to the mix. An $8 million defenseman, that puts you from end of the second pairing kind of guy, someone who's a 4, maybe a 3, to if you can go spend $8 million on the market, you're talking about maybe a guy that's a number 2. Like, yeah, the $2 million, if you sit there and view it as, well, it's just a $2 million player, that's nothing. That's, a little bit more than Janmark. You can't view it like that. View it more as tacking it on to what you'd already have to spend, and it could really change things.
Yeah, no, 100%. Jason Gregor, Tyler Yaremchuk with you here on Sports 1440. So I had the gents from AFP Analytics on the show yesterday, and they came up with their projections for contracts. They actually had McDavid at 16.4 mil because that was the exact same percentage of cap that he had on his last deal when he signed it in 2017. So I get the theory behind that. They had Ekholm on 2 years at 6.5 and Wallman at 5 years at 6.5. Do you think they're accurate? Which would you like better of those two deals?
When it comes to Ekholm, I have him more in the camp, and I think I have Brett Kulak in this camp too. I want to see how they perform this year. And I mean, Kulak's obviously younger, but still, I'm not in a rush. I'm not worried that if Brett Kulak goes and has some amazing season, he's going to be totally priced out and the market will be so good that you're going to lose him. And I mean, let's be honest, when you look at their depth chart, he's 3rd on the left side. If someone flips over, you could argue he's 4th in terms of left shot defenseman right now. So I'm not worried about Kulak with Ekholm. I want to see how he survives throughout a year. Like, he didn't look good in the cup final. If we're taking Bowman at his word and they say he was healthy in the cup final, again, I don't know if I believe that, but like, if that's the Ekholm they're getting next season, I'm not signing that guy to an extension this summer. Like, I'm waiting and seeing how he's recovered from his injury. Podkolzin and Wallman, there is a little bit of me that's like, Wallman with this team getting to play with McDavid and Draisaitl just at 5-on-5, like, he could put up some monster numbers next year. I want to get ahead of that. I want to sign Jake Wallman before he has some sort of a career year and prices him out of Edmonton's range. And same thing to Vasily Podkolzin. I know in the piece you wrote, you noted Connor Allen's role and how, hey, maybe if he can start working with Podkolzin and he gets a scoring touch, we know Draisaitl likes playing with him. We know he fits pretty well there. If he's going to play, let's call it 55, 60 games with Leon Draisaitl next year, and he gets a scoring touch, he's going to cost you a lot more on his next contract than you could probably get him for right now. So with Podkolzin and Wallman, I have like a fear that they could pop off and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, probably should have gotten ahead of the curve on that one. With Kulak and Ekholm, I'm totally fine just waiting until midway through the year, the end of next season, signing them before the draft. Like, there's no rush for those two for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So I know I was talking earlier about CIS or U Sports, I should say, and NCAA. And I've long argued that U Sport, you put the top programs in U Sport, they could go into the NCAA and they'd have no problem in the Final Four. It's not even a debate in my mind. And I think that a lot of those programs, UNB and other ones, when the Bears were dominant, they could win easily. And they never promoted their league like NCAA. And I would see top free agents out of U Sport, and they would get 2-way contracts. And you're getting guys coming out of NCAA who would get to sign a 2-year entry-level deal, and they'd burn 1 year right away. And guess what? They all end up in the minors, and for the vast majority, they weren't any better. But now the rules have changed, and a lot of those good 20-year-olds can go now to NCAA. How much do you think this is going to hurt U Sport? Because I think they kind of missed their window to show how good their league was.
Yeah, that's kind of my concern. And like, obviously I'm close to it. I've done play-by-play for the Golden Bears for a number of years. I've been on the broadcast as the color guy now for I think 8 seasons or 7 seasons. So I've been around the program for a really long time. And one thing that really changed coming out of COVID was, man, the gap got way smaller from the top to the bottom. It used to just be like middle of the regular season, like, all right, let's get this thing going. Alberta, Saskatchewan final, and we're going to see who's the best team. But the last couple of years, it's been like, no, Alberta's not running away with the conference in the regular. Like, the gap got so good, the hockey got so much better, and these other teams got better at recruiting, and that's what kind of makes the NCAA ruling changing. It's a real gut punch, because I think what we'll see, Alberta will still be able to recruit some really, really talented players, guys that maybe aren't getting offered a full ride down in the NCAA and are sitting there going, okay, do I want to go play at Omaha and still have to pay $10,000 a year or $15,000 a year to get and actually go to school there? Or do I just want to go take my free schooling at the U of A and live close to home and stay in Canada and all that? So I do still think the top teams are going to be able to recruit at a pretty good clip. They're going to lose some players. The Golden Bears lost a handful of players over the summer now. But I just think it's going to make that gap really big again. And it really is a shame. And I don't know how they go about fixing it now, because this can of worms, this Pandora's box, it's open. And I don't know, unless there's some way for them to like work with the NCAA, maybe you can create like a Northern Conference of some sort. I don't know. That seems a little bit far-fetched, though. In the moment, it's going to hurt the product greatly next year. And that sucks, because you're right. The last couple of years, it's been so much fun at Claire Drake Arena. And I'm sure it still will be. The student section will be buzzing, all of that stuff. But the hockey was so good the last couple of years. And every weekend, there were like good, close games. Gone were the days of some team rolling in like Manitoba and just losing 9-2 and 8-1, and then it was over. Like, it's a shame that they couldn't take advantage of those last years a little bit more. But again, I don't think this is going to totally kill U Sports. It'll just change it'll change the hierarchy back to what it probably was 5-6 years ago.
Well, and you're going to see a lot of players going now. Like, I know players that are going that have 2 years, maybe 3 years of eligibility. I'm like, why? Why you go, like, you're educate, like, you're going there for hockey, but your education fund, and a lot of them aren't getting paid. Like, not every player. I think that's another misnomer. Everybody thinks, oh, everybody who goes to NCAA is all going to make big money, right? Like, that's not the case at all, right? And full ride to the U.S. is never guaranteed. It's only 1 year at a time, right? Even before this, they talked about a lot. Oh yeah, I got an NCAA scholarship. They never talked about after 1 year how, you know what, they're like, sorry, we're not renewing it for you. Like, it's not a locked, sold 4-year deal. And I'll be curious to see how many players. I think all that's going to happen with the portal, Ty, is it's going to include a lot of players going there for a year and being like, not my thing, and coming back.
Yeah, I kind of said, I think it might take maybe one cycle of players, maybe a second one. So we're talking like anywhere from 3 to 5 years for a bunch of guys to go down, and for there to be some stories of like, ooh, it's really expensive. Ooh, I was getting sat on the bench and I could have been up in Canada playing an important role and getting a similar level education. Like, I do think there's a little bit, and I'm trying to remove like any sort of U Sports bias I have, because I'm so close to the program and all of that. But like, I think there might be a couple cycles of players who then start to tell these younger guys, like, it's not as good as it's cooked up to be. You're playing fourth line minutes on some of these teams. Like, just stay in Canada, take the truly free schooling that you're going to get as a part of your agreement with the CHL. And again, it'll kind of change. But for right now, it's the shiny new toy, right? You want to go play NCAA Division I hockey. I'm sure there's an allure of like, I'm going to go play against Gavin McKenna. I'm going to be in front of better scouts who are watching draft eligible guys, like all of that. But again, I do think at some point people will realize that the grass just isn't really greener down there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it's going to work for some, and it's fantastic. But I think like any shiny new toy, there'll be lots of people who think, oh, everything's great. And because most just don't know. And I think the uncertainty from year to year with the portal, it's going to make it very hard on players, that they'll look and because the truth of the matter is, it's always cheaper for an American school to have an American player than a Canadian. That's why we've seen fewer scholarships even in the last few years because of that. So that's not going to change, even though I know there's nil money, but just because you have it doesn't mean you're just going to automatically, if it costs you more for a player who's the same skill set, they're taking the guy who's the same skill set. It costs you less. It's just simple math.
Yeah, and even like again, is Porter Martone and Gavin McKenna, are those guys getting $150,000-$250,000 to go play down at those schools next year? Yes. Is insert 20-year-old player who just aged out of the WHL, is he getting $50,000 to play down there? No, he's getting his scholarship, and it's potentially a full ride, and that obviously provides some value. But the idea that like every hockey player from Canada who goes to play in the States is going to unlock this mass amount of wealth, like that's also just not true. It's going to cost a lot of money to go down there, both for the school and for the athlete. So again, I think it'll take kind of one or two cycles for the shine to wear off, and I think we'll start to see, again, not the high-end, really good players, but the similar caliber you've had for the last couple of years, those guys will start coming back to U Sports.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, Ty, enjoy the week and enjoy the honeymoon after that. And we'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Yep. Sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
It's Tyler Yaremchuk from Owners Nation and Daily Face-Off. The trades are coming. We'll update you and get to the trade talk. An interesting deal. A lot of people are like, man, I see a lot of people comparing the trade that just happened to the Jays and the return. Many people say, man, I would have taken what the Jays did way more than what the Mets did. So we'll discuss that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When you look at a pipe, you just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home, or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Come experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball Friday, August 1st. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com. Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one. Plus, great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge. Open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
McDonald's sundaes and snack size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals, and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select major kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.246. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, it's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you get in the game and the OG of lotteries in Canada. Lotto 649, $30 million up for grabs tonight in the Gold Ball Jackpot. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time for our MLB report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. As we're joined by national MLB writer from the Washington Post, Chelsea Jane, joins us. Chelsea, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. I know it's a busy day. We are just under, 25, or just over, I guess, 25 hours until the MLB trade deadline. And there's been some deals today. Let's start with the most recent one. In the Mets get the submariner, Tyler Rogers, but they give up Buto, Gilbert, and Blade Tidwell. And I saw a lot of people already say, man, that's a lot for Tyler Rogers if you compare it to what the Jays gave up to get Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I still haven't totally figured it out. You know, I thought maybe I misunderstood his contract situation, but he is a free agent after this year. So they must really think that having a bunch of different types of guys in their bullpen is a big deal, and having that different look will really matter. And, you know, I guess that's kind of what they're banking on there.
Also, and I don't know if this is the first time in MLB history or not, but Tyler's twin brother, Taylor, also got traded today from Cincinnati. He's going to go to the Pirates along with Stafura, and the Reds get maybe the best defensive third base. Well, definitely the best defensive third baseman available. One of the best defensive third basemen in baseball in Hayes. And you look at where they're at. Did this surprise you that the Reds took a swing like this, or do you like this move for them?
It doesn't surprise me. I think they feel like they are in it enough to make a push with their limited means, and this kind of fits that bill, you know, kind of. You know, people had mentioned them maybe with Eugenio Suarez. That felt maybe a little big for them and where they are, but, you know, this kind of makes some sense. I think Hayes, too, you know, you don't often want teams to bet on guys that haven't been great and hope they'll be better this time of year. But I think in his case, a change of scenery, a team that's winning, you know, you really don't know what he looks like in that scenario. And I think there's reason to believe he'll be better than he's been offensively. So I like it for them. And, you know, I think they have reason to believe they can snag a wild card spot if they hang in there.
And the Nationals trading away Garcia and Chaffin for Eder and Brown. What do you make of that deal between the Angels and the Nationals?
That's one of those deals where the Nats got both those guys basically when they were kind of like either DFA'd or on waivers, and to turn them into anything is good for the Nats. And I think the Angels don't feel like they gave up a ton. But kind of interesting. You know, I definitely thought the Angels were going to sell. I don't necessarily think that them grabbing two mid-level relievers means they aren't, you know, that they're full on buying. But I'm still kind of curious to see where they go from here, because I would certainly not have given up prospects if I were them for anything this time of year, but clearly they felt they had a need.
Yeah, because you look at the Angels and they're tied with KC right now. They're 4 out of the wild card spot behind the Rangers, but they are behind the Mariners. But then they'd have to jump the Rangers and the Rays and the Guardians. Like it's a big ask. Now, this MLB season has been crazy. We've seen like Detroit Tigers' best record in baseball, then they lose 12 out of 13. The Yankees were great, then they stunk. You know, the Jays were below 500, and then for 2 months, they were the best team in baseball, right? The LA Dodgers were red hot, and then they couldn't win, and you know, their pitching's decimated by injuries, and, you know, they've struggled. Like, it's so unpredictable that maybe do you think we will see teams that are 3, 4, 5 games out suddenly saying, hey, you know what? If we get the right guy, we can get back in this?
I mean, I think it's, I think there are teams that will think that way. I think the Angels are a team that probably could benefit from taking a step back in that way and just kind of letting it sit for a year, because they've been fairly aggressive at times over the last few years when people think, they should maybe sit. But, I think the thing about the extra wildcard spots is it does make these decisions really hard. And I think that's great. I think it's great for teams to kind of come into this and say, are we out of it? Are we really out of it? What do we do? I think there are a few teams that are hovering right around 500. The Texas Rangers were under 500 until very recently. And I think now you look at them, they're probably buyers, and maybe, they start to look like a really formidable contender. So the parity, at least at this point in the year, is really, really good. And I think it makes the deadline kind of a little bit more fascinating, honestly.
When you look at teams, is there a team, like if you had to go today and I said, Chelsea, you got to put down $500 or whatever, your life savings on one team in the major leagues of baseball, is there any team that you're really confident that can win today?
I think the Dodgers will go deep into October. I know that's an easy answer. But outside of that, it's really, really tough. Like, I think the Blue Jays are having a really nice year. I still think they could run into a roadblock and tank the rest of the way, or maybe they take off. It's like it's just really, really tough to tell. I think the Dodgers will be around, but outside of that, it's tough. And I think that's good. It's good, but it always seems like when we get to the end of the year and the World Series or the Championship Series, it's still the big market teams that end up there. It's still the familiar faces. So, the parity is there, but it's maybe not there all the way.
Yeah, well, no, that's fair. Not the Angels, the Dodgers are interesting because they're just so beat up, right? And you wonder, like, history and odds would say, okay, guys will get healthy again, but if they don't, they've spent so much money. Like, how aggressive do you think they're going to be between now and tomorrow's deadline? Are we going to see the Dodgers make 3 more moves here to add 3 more players?
I think so. I think they're going to push on big relievers. But I also think they've got a lot of guys coming back. This might be their, I could see them making a case for this being their least aggressive deadline, because they look at their bullpen and they say they have Blake Trinan, who closed out last year's World Series, coming back. They've got Tanner Scott, who they signed for a ton of money to be their closer on the IL, but not out for the year. There's just reason to believe that they're going to get better from within. But also the Dodgers tend not to take chances. And so if they see an opening to go grab, an elite closer, even a bat that you didn't see coming, I think they're going to do it. So it'll be really interesting to see. But I think maybe this year more than ever, there's reason to believe they won't be quite as desperate to, bring on a huge name, because they've got so many huge names coming back from the injured list. But, when push comes to shove, they don't leave much a chance. If there's someone available, they're going to push.
Chelsea Janes joins us, national MLB writer, as we are just over 25 hours away from the MLB trade deadline. And you mentioned the Jays. They went out, and I actually like that deal for them. They get a guy who's got an electric arm, can strike out a lot. He might have some walk trouble here, but they didn't give up a whole bunch for it. Do you see other, clearly they got to improve their pitching. They're a top 6 team in offense, and they've had some injuries, and they're still getting great contributions from everyone in their lineup, but they need help pitching. Chelsea, do you see guys that are fits, and how aggressive do you think the Jays should or will be?
I think they should be as aggressive as they've ever been. I think this is their year. They've waited a long time with a lot of talent, never been able to put it together, and here they are, so I think they should definitely push, especially in relief. And I think they'll be really aggressive. I mean, I think they've got the money. I think they've got the prospects. It's obviously Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians isn't going to be available. Remains to be seen whether Duran, the closer from the Twins, is going to be, available at a reasonable price. But I think after that tier of relievers, I think there's reason to believe, that they'll be in on pretty much anyone who's there. Pete Fairbanks, Carlos Estevez, these guys who've had, really strong seasons in the past and really make a difference, I think are where they'll probably be shopping. But Dominguez is a difference maker too. I mean, that's not a nothing deal. That guy is really good when he's got command. And, he's been there before. So,
yes.
I think they push on pitching. But I wouldn't be surprised if they push elsewhere too, because I just feel like they know better than anyone that having all this talent doesn't mean it's going to click, and it's clicking now. And I think you got to run with it.
What would you like? Their big free agent signing hasn't done anything. Would you package him? I know he's injured, but do you think would they be able to entice a team in a bigger package and use Santander and move him out? Could that work at all, do you think?
I don't know. I doubt it. And I also, in their shoes, wouldn't do it. As someone who's watched him play a lot in Baltimore over the last few years, like, that guy hits a lot of home runs and he hits a lot of big home runs. So he's been disappointing, yes, but if he comes back, that's a 40 homer guy just all of a sudden tossed into your lineup. I mean, that's a big deal. So I think they should bet on him if I'm them. I mean, I obviously don't know the extent of the shoulder injury, and those things are never a small deal, but I mean, that he might end up being their biggest deadline acquisition.
Yeah.
He's a real deal home run hitter.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And then do you think Alex Manoah can come back and be an MLB pitcher again?
You know, if he gets back, he'll have been through enough where I think you have to figure he can handle it. You know, I think at times it's felt like there's been some mental stuff going on there, but if he's able to work his way back from what he's been through, I mean, he used to be really, really good. And if he's gotten back, if they've let him get back on that mound, I think it's because they think he can be again. I mean, he was a Cy Young candidate at his best. So I don't think you count on him. But again, it's kind of part of why the Blue Jays are sort of in this sort of perfect storm where, you know, you're getting guys back that you haven't even relied on. Manoah maybe being one of them who could change your whole season if everything goes right. And if everything goes wrong, well, you didn't count on them anyway. So it's kind of a good situation to be in.
Lastly, for fun, Chelsea, who is going to be involved in the biggest deal between now and tomorrow?
That's a great question. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Guardians, but I could see them maybe getting creative with some of their relievers. They're probably deciding they're out of it. So I could see maybe a Stephen Kwan kind of thing, but other than that, I'm not sure. But that's my real. I'm not confident in it, but that's what I'll say.
Okay, well, I like it. Hey, got to go on a limb. Awesome stuff, Chelsea. Thanks so much for this. Have a great day and enjoy the next 25 hours. Should be crazy covering national baseball. There'll be no shortage of stories.
Totally. Thanks for having me.
Chelsea Janes joins us, Washington Post national MLB writer. And you know what? I love trade deadline in any sport. Like, it's just intriguing to see where they're going. And in baseball, there's so many different types of players that you need. A relief pitcher, a lefty, a righty. Can you get a closer? Maybe you just need some bat strength. Maybe you need another lefty off the bench. Obviously, then there's all the key position players. And then you throw in the teams know who's healthy and who's not. Right? Like, could Santander come back for the Jays in September? Could you imagine? Like she said, like, this guy's a huge home run hitter. Be a huge acquisition because he's done absolutely nothing. Right? It's kind of like those guys on LTIR when they come back for the playoffs. Right? They can make a big impact on your team. So we'll see. When we come back, speaking of impact, we talked about it, and I like they said this is one of the greatest sports hacks you can think of. If you're a diehard sports fan who wants to get as close to the action without having to spend, like, think about what it costs you to get front row seats at a major sporting event. Just think about it, right? And it's A, to get them, B, is hard to do, and then to afford them is another one. Well, if you're a diehard sports fan, you'll want to hear our next guest talk about something that any of you could actually do to get close to the sport you like. Well, to that and more after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer. LegacyHeating.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Calgary Flames signing Martin Pospisil to a 3-year contract extension earlier today. He had 4 goals, 25 points in 81 games last season with the club, and the Winnipeg Jets reaching a 3-year, $17.25 million deal with restricted free agent defenseman Dylan Samberg to avoid arbitration. Major League Baseball today, the Jays wrapping up their series in Baltimore, winning 9-8. They're off tomorrow. Then they'll kick off a series in Toronto against the Royals on Friday. Elsewhere, the Tigers knocking off the Diamondbacks 7-2. Red Sox beat up on the Twins 13-1. Cubbies over the Brewers 10-3. Thriller as the Royals got past the Braves 1-0 in extras, and the Astros dropped the Nationals 9-1. A few trades in the majors with the deadline approaching. Mets acquiring pitcher Tyler Rogers from the Giants for pitchers Josh Budo, Blade Tidwell, and center fielder Josh Gilbert. Also, the Cincinnati Reds bring Cabrian Hayes from the Pirates for Taylor Rogers, Sammy Stafira, and cash considerations. 3 games in the WNBA tonight with the Fever hosting the Mercury at 5. Then at 6, we got the Dream and the Wings. Also, the Lynx taking on the Liberty. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be without quarterback Zach Collaros when they take on the Argos on Friday night. Collaros, 36, missed the second half of Winnipeg's 31-17 road loss to the Argos on Saturday. Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight. Game 2 of 3 against the Nanaimo. That one gets going just after 7 o'clock down at Remax Field. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show. That's a very cool sports talk with Jennifer Martin. And here another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
McDonald's Sundays and snack size shakes are $2 or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made
Wonderful
by Canada West.
Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome.
All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save on Foods. That's Diablo Boots. 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save on Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to what'syourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It is indeed the only regulated online gambling website in Alberta where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. So even if you lose, you still win. PlayAlberta.ca. So that'll keep us on track for the Yellowhead being a freeway in 2044. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. Still my favorite press release of all time. Yes, this will be a freeway in 2044. Who thought that was a good idea? I have no idea, but it's still one of the funniest ones I've ever seen. Welcome back, everyone. Sports 1440, the Jason Gregor Show. And right now, I can tell you right now, we've never talked about this on the show before, because to be honest, I didn't even know it was a thing up until a few weeks ago. And this is, if you are a sports fan and want to get as close to the action as possible, this is one of the greatest sports fan hacks I think you could do. And we welcome in, many of you know her, used to watch her on TV for a long time in Edmonton, news anchor Jennifer Martin, longtime media member, joins us now. Jen, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me in.
Well, thanks for coming in. And I know you told me about this a while ago, and then we ran into each other again last Thursday at the Skyline charity golf tournament, and we're talking about it again. I'm like, I got to get you in studio. So I kind of, to tease it a little bit with our audience, how did you find out about, so I guess maybe I'll just tell everybody what it is. It allows you, when you watch a major or any PGA event or LPGA event, and you're watching and you see the golfers, and then right behind them is their scorecard, right? You got somebody out there who's holding it up, and it's got the names, Corey Connor, Scotty Scheffler, whatever it is. That was you.
That was me.
And you just get to sign up to do this, and you get right access to the course.
Oh yeah, as close as, I mean, they shake your hand before, they shake your hand after, you're with them the whole round. It's like you're part of the team, and the handshakes, like, they value you being out there.
So how did you find out about it?
Being curious. So I was planning a trip to Hawaii last January, have friends with condos there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm getting out of the Edmonton winter, booked a hotel near their place. And they said, great, you'll be here when the Sony Open is on. The PGA season's kicking off. We always go. So I went, oh, that's interesting. Sony Open. I've been to the Waste Management in Phoenix as a spectator. So I just wanted to go on the website and find out a little bit more about the tournament. And there's a button there, volunteer. And I'm trying my hand at retirement. I'm trying my best to do nothing. Okay. It's great for my golf game, and my garden looks great. The bar tab's too high though. But so anyways, I why not? So there's all kinds of volunteer opportunities. You can be a driver. You can work in the parking lot. I don't know. I didn't really think that sounded too cool. But then there was standard bearer, which means you're holding the scorecard. You have to pay attention and keep track of the scores, but they're not hitting 9 shots on a hole. It's pretty easy. And you're between the ropes with the pros.
So it's called a standard bearer. Mm-hmm. And does every tournament do this?
Every tournament, like you watch on TV, and a lot of times they'll have kids do it. It really depends on the tournament, because the golf club themselves that are hosting, right? It's a huge deal for a golf club to get a PGA tournament.
Sure.
So the golf club needs help, and they just open it up, and I just signed up and got an email 2 weeks later. You're in. And
so there's no there's no application or anything.
There's a bit of an application.
Okay. Did they ask you, do you know the golf scores? You know what a bogey is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They ask you that. And it was interesting. They said, what's your carbon footprint? In other words, how much jet fuel are you burning to get to this tournament?
Really?
And I thought, well, I want to get picked. So I put 0 because I'm going to be there anyway.
Yeah, because you were already going.
Yeah. So I was a little, crafty with that one. I would put out one caveat when I did this. It wasn't such a thing with Trump. Who knows if the crazy guy in the White House is going to say, those Canadians, those nasty Canadians are taking volunteer opportunities from our Americans. But that wasn't an issue when I went, and just who knows? I don't want to set anybody up for getting thrown in jail by ISIS or ICE. But, it was easy. It was, come on down.
So they give you you're in, you show up. And so you did the Pro-Am on the Wednesday, right?
Yeah. So what when you talk about the hack, so this is the pass I got. This
Okay.
gets you in every day. So the 6 days, right?
Oh, you get it. So even if you're not volunteering, you're still in?
Yeah, if you're not working, you still get the pass. And in my experience, I went to 3 PGA events last winter, and they vary in price, obviously. But $100 US, let's say, is a minimum for just a general admission. So this pass is worth $600 US per person. The requirement for the Sony Open was you just got to volunteer 2 days. So I picked the Pro-Am, got to meet John Hamm, the actor that's in all the Skip the Dishes commercial, and he's in Landman on Paramount Plus right now. He's on Mad Men. He was super nice, giant guy. Like, it was just fun to meet him. So I did the Pro-Am, and then I did day 1 of the competition. And it was really fun because I thought, gee, I really want to go out with Corey Connors. And how's that going to work? I didn't want to kind of be stuck with someone I didn't really know. It worked out. Do you want to know how they
I was just going to ask you. So is it just luck of the draw? How do you get to see which, because on the first day, there's obviously 3 golfers in your group.
Yes. Right. So I go into the cart barn. You spend, they want you there early. So you're there, an hour before, and it's not glamorous. You're sitting around and they feed you, some sandwich, and you just wait your turn. And then when it's time to go out, they say, okay, who's been volunteering here for 25 years? And there was the one lady that put up her hand, 20 years, 15 years, 10. So you pick based on your seniority. Well, I'm a newbie, so I don't even have 1 year under my belt. So I got to pick last, but I was there was only a couple Canadians there. And so I got to pick Corey Connors. And luckily for me, he was paired with Nick Taylor, our other Canadian that day, and Sepp Straka,
who's like he was like top 3 in the world, right?
Yeah.
So that was your threesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then you go out and you have your orange because you have your hat. I see.
They give you a hat and a shirt. And I made the mistake because they give it to you before. And I made the mistake of going out and watching them practice and the putting and all that. And I got Corey Connors' autograph. Okay. And I came back to the barn and I got in trouble. They're like, no. You can't go out. Your uniform can't have autographs on it. Like,
so they had to give you a new shirt?
Yeah, I had to get it. Yeah. Oops. Okay. I won't do that again. But they give you a shirt and a hat, and you've got your lanyard. So you get to go a lot of places, and it's free. And so the only rules really, because it's kind of nerve wracking at first. You're like, you're on TV, the guys that walk with the players and do the coverage for the PGA, like you're with the broadcast crew, you're with the caddies. And so I just said to the caddies, so they kind of give you a rundown in the cart barn, but basically the biggest rule is don't get in their line of sight, and don't make any noise. I can do that.
Yeah. Now, do they tell you you're not allowed to cheer for good shots, or do they care you can cheer for good shots after?
No, you're working.
Okay, so no cheering.
You're a spectator. You're a working. Yeah.
You're a working person.
Yeah.
And so when you come out, you're on the first hole, and now, is the sign heavy? Are you like Jesus Christ here? You're carrying the cross?
It was heavy. Some of them, I think, vary. It depends on the club. I felt my sign was probably 30 years old. It was really heavy metal. The names were cracking. They had Connor spelled wrong. And it's funny because I've been on TV for a couple of decades, and my kids were tuned in. My boys were tuned in to the Golf Channel and NBC to see me, a glimpse of me on the course. I've been on TV for 25 years, but see, that was really cool. And so they did bring out a new Connors name bar for us to change that, because people are the spectators yelling at me. I'm like, it's not my fault. I'm carrying the sign. But mine was kind of heavy, but they give you a strap. I think I've been to the other tournaments, and some of them are new and some of them are old. But
so when they're teeing off, you're obviously behind them?
You're on the tee box.
You're on the tee box.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of room with some of them because you've got the ropes for the spectators. So you have to be inside the rope. And again, as long as you're not in their line of sight, as long as you're quiet, you get within 10 feet.
So then they all tee off, right? And let's say Strap has hit one 320 and the other guys are 308 and one guy's you're obviously standing behind the guy who's shooting the farthest from the hole.
Correct.
Right. And then when they get to the green, where do you go?
You just stay out of their putting line of sight. So you got to maybe move around depending on who's putting. But you saw Scheffler at the Open yelling at a photographer,
right,
who he's going to putt, and the guy's right in his line of sight between the ball and the hole. that's a no-no. So, you just got to kind of keep your head about you and stay out of their way and be quiet. So Danny Saul from Sherwood Park, he's Corey Connor's caddy, and he's, they're all super friendly. And Nick Taylor's caddy is Canadian as well. So they'll chat with you a little bit, especially during the Pro-Am. There was lots of chatting. But like the caddies get there before and walk the course, usually in the morning if they have an afternoon tee off. And then they'll go out with the players in the afternoon, but they'll walk the whole course with the morning group. And then the other thing I found out that was really cool from the caddies. So we hit a hole and Straka goes in the bunker. So his caddy stays behind and he's raking forever. So Nick Taylor's caddy picks up Straka's bag and he's carrying both bags now to go up to Sepp and Nick. And Straka's caddy's raking. So I had a little chance to kind of talk to Nick Taylor's caddy and I'm like, what gives? And he's like, well, we got to go to raking school. Like
as a caddy.
Yeah, the raking of the bunkers is no joking matter. Like you got to get that right. So finally Straka's caddy catches up and, the Nick Taylor caddy had lent him his shoulder and took his bag up so that Straka could hit without waiting for his caddy. And they help each other out that way. And it was kind of cool to find that. And then, just talking to the caddies a bit, the golfers are mathematicians. Like they're good, but they're really smart. So I'm talking to Danny Soul about like how do you prepare? Well, they're in their hotel rooms at night and they got 7 or 8 people at home checking wind speed for the next day on each hole, the direction, humidity. Like there's one hole at the Sony Open where you're hitting out towards the Pacific Ocean and the wind's going to be coming in at you that day. Okay. And so they're like, okay, speed's important, direction's important, but humidity, is the air going to be heavy? Do I need to put a little extra on it because it's super humid that day? It's going to be heavy air, like just mind-boggling calculations. So I said to Danny, I'm like, it sounds like they have to be good at math. He's like, oh yeah. Like there's a lot of math and there's a lot of calculations and they're obviously good athletes, but they're super smart, the players.
Jennifer Martin joins. We're going to take a quick break. We're talking about one of the greatest sports hacks you can have as a fan, where you can work at a PGA event or an LPGA event, literally by going to the website and just clicking on the volunteer. And you can be, what's the term again?
So I was a standard bearer.
Standard bearer. I'm thinking Paul Bear, but no, that wouldn't be right. The standard bearer. And basically you hold the scorecard for the group and then you walk around with them. And I got lots more questions about what you do in certain situations and who changes the scorecard and more when we return. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app.
The standard bearer, and basically you hold
$20 or more.
Who changes the scorecard more
to
when we
claim a
return?
$100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
Edmonton Elks salute to service, presented by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. August 2nd, 1300 hours. EE battles the Ticats. Catch the Royal Canadian Air Force pregame flyover, the salute to service flag football tournament, and more. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
McDonald's sundaes and snack size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today, because it's time to be the man you remember.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to what'syourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. Promo code Gregor before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:22, we return on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Jennifer Martin, of course, a longtime TV broadcaster. Now she's like a golf insider for us, telling us about the great golf pack that we like to call it, where you get to volunteer at major events, PGA, and Jen did that at the Sony Open in Hawaii. And ends up and she's the basically carrying their public scoreboard card around, right? That's the easiest way to put it. You watch the people that usually they're white for the most part, and then their names on a pole, and their name comes across. And you were telling me that you're actually responsible for changing their score. So you have a pocket full of numbers?
Yep. So they give you a pocket full of numbers in red and black, and you've got to keep track. There is an official PGA scorekeeper, but they're busy doing their own thing. They've got the digital now where they can feed everything instantly into the PGA and the broadcaster. So you can lean on them if you really need to, if you're not sure. But usually you just keep track. They're only hitting 3 or 4 shots, 5 shots. So it's pretty easy, but there's 3 of them. You just keep track and
Did you have your own little scorecard in your hand that you did, or was it always in your head?
I think it was in my head.
Okay.
And because okay, well, that's a bogey or that's a birdie or a par. It's not that hard. You could have a little notepad though. They give you an apron, but this bystanders, the spectators who paid good money to be on the other side of the ropes, they really depend on you.
Yeah.
Like I said, people were yelling at me because Connor's last name was spelled wrong on my sign, which was not my fault. So like, get off my back. But they did bring out a new sign for me, which was a relief. But yeah, you change the scores. If you're not sure, you kind of just look over at the official PGA person and they look at your sign and they nod.
Okay.
And you're like, yep, I'm all on track.
So there is an official PGA person with every group?
Yeah, because they're
because they want to match, and that's why when they hand in their scorecard, it has to match what the official PGA person has.
Yeah.
And so I was curious where you're standing at different viewpoints. So you're a pretty big golf fan. You've been to lots of PGA tours on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
How much better were your sight lines in the role that you had?
Well, amazing, because you can be pretty much on the tee box because it gets tight there with some of the spectators' ropes closing in on the tee box.
Yeah.
And then you follow them right off as soon as they leave. Putting, you can be quite close as long as you're behind them, not in their line of sight. You can be kind of close to the caddies because they'll back up a little. They don't really like to talk at all. The Pro-Am was a lot more casual. But compared to, so I also went to the Sentry in Maui, and then I went to the Genesis Invitational in San Diego. And so at the Genesis Invitational, my advice would be, if you're going to go to one of the tournaments, go on the Thursday or the Friday because it's less crowded. I think it was Friday or maybe a Saturday in San Diego, I followed Connors around. But then later in the day, I did want to see Scheffler and Rory. But the crowds were so big, I had to stand on a hole for like an hour and a half and wait for them to come to me to just have a spot in the gallery where I could see anything.
Okay.
So it's tough. Like, it looks really cool on TV, but when you're there in person to get a view, you got to be really strategic. You got to hustle. It's hard to get a really good view of the players when you're in the gallery.
Yeah. And so obviously when you're inside the ropes and you're there now, when you're that close, do you get to hear like their strategy when they're, so Danny Saul, for instance, because we know him, and he's talking to Corey Connors and he's saying, okay, you know what? I think we should hit a 5-iron. Are you close enough to hear that?
A little bit,
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah. I was probably trying to keep my distance more than anything, just to be respectful. Like, the last thing you want to do is get reprimanded. But just to even, watch them, like their swings, and it's so next level, and like the level of concentration, and it's truly an experience.
And just seeing, because I know I've talked to a lot of people who've been to Augusta, and again, they're not inside the ropes, they're just there as a fan, and there's massive, huge crowds there, is the undulation of the courses. On TV, it doesn't really do it justice. And so when you're walking that course, obviously now you're feeling every step of it because, you're walking where everybody's walking.
Yeah, wear good shoes.
Yeah, you wear good shoes, but the course must be like, damn, like this is way harder than it looks.
So at the Sony Open, it's pretty flat. So that's real easy. At the Sentry in Maui, there are holes kind of midway through the round, about 3-4, where you're literally going up and down mountain valleys. And so they actually put the volunteers that are, like the standard bearer, the camera crews, the golfers, the caddies, they put you all in vans and take you in vans between the holes because it's unwalkable with all that gear. So it really depends on the course.
Yeah. Jennifer Martin joined us. So would you do it again?
I think so. I mean, for me, it was, what I liked? The golfers are super nice. The guys I played with, Sepp Straka, Corey Connors, Nick Taylor, really nice. Their caddies were even nicer.
Yeah.
They shake your hand at the beginning. What floored me was the PJ's reliance on so many volunteers. Like the lady that answered my email when I applied 2 weeks after, and this is maybe in November, December for the January tournament, she's a volunteer.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting in the cart barn getting all the
For 6 days.
For 6 days, which is not glamorous. There's volunteers, obviously on the tee boxes, I think would be really fun. But in the parking lot, maybe you're a driver. Are you driving the players? Maybe, but maybe you're driving their nanny, and they're like, I don't know. So
like, what happens because if it's 6 days, what happens on the Tuesday? Like, you didn't go there on the
no.
Tuesday.
So the Pro-Am was, I think, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And so some of them will have like a practice day as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
all the tournaments are
So the
different.
practice day, you could just go out there and because you mentioned that you have your volunteer pass, right? It has your name on it, and that gets you in. So even though you were volunteering on the Wednesday and Thursday, you were able to go Friday with your pass, but that puts you behind the line or just gets you in?
Yeah, so now you're a spectator, but you're not paying the minimum $100 US general admission.
So did you go as a spectator?
I'd had enough after 2 days walking the course. That's enough golf for me.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have gone on the Sunday because Nick Taylor actually won that tournament.
Yeah, that would have been unreal to see that, right? As a Canadian.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially that was pretty spectacular.
And you know what's funny is my friends before I said I was doing this, and they're like, why the heck? Why would you do that? That's so lame. And then the day came and they paid their money and they got in as spectators and they're in the gallery and they're taking pictures of me and they're like giving me the thumbs up. They're like, that is so cool.
Yeah,
like you're walking with the golfers.
Yeah, because you're talking to them, but you're getting like a literal front row seat for every shot. It's not because, like you mentioned, you stand on the 17th green. Now you can see all the shots in the 17th green, but you're not getting to see the 14th or the 15th. It's hard. You know, some people try to follow around and maybe on a Thursday or Friday at some of the events you can do it, but for a lot of them, you just simply can't. You got to see every one.
Oh,
right?
for sure. And the only other piece of advice I'd give if people just want to go as a spectator is if you go, especially like on a Saturday, Sunday, when I was at Torrey Pines for the Genesis, there's no Wi-Fi out there because there are so many people on their cell phones and you're standing out on a mountain beside the Pacific Ocean. Okay. So the Wi-Fi, like don't even
just don't bring your phone,
assume you're probably not going to have much Wi-Fi. Yeah. And then, makes it hard because then you can't tell kind of where the players are at. Like you can't even really go on the PGA website. And then the other crazy thing about it is you can't get an Uber home. So, I mean, I think I paid $200 US just to get home from Torrey Pines on a Saturday.
Because how'd you get home? You could use a limo?
Well, I stocked it up and paid the money.
Oh.
I mean, I guess you could walk out and find a bus stop, but these are the little things that caught me off guard.
Now, I want to go back to the raking school for the caddies. Did you get to see what are they doing to make are they raking it so it's completely flat everywhere? There can't be, because obviously, schmucks like me would go in and you try, you walk out and then you take the rake and you rake over your footprints. But do they have to get it? Because when I see it on TV, it's almost like it's a swirl.
It is. And so they have to put it back the way the grooms people left it.
Oh, wow.
So because, some of the times there's a slant.
Yes.
And then they always use the other side of the rake, which you'll see at courses here in Edmonton, where they've got that sort of fringe that's flat.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's rake marks where they turn it over for the claws in the middle. I don't know what it all means.
The process you said wasn't that hard because we've had a few people texting, how do you do it? You just go to each you don't go to the PGA site, right? You go to the Sony Open site. That's what you did?
I went to the individual tournament websites, right. And
because I'm on PGA Tour right now and I don't see it there. So
no, I'm pretty sure it would have to be on the individual. So I went to the sonyopen.com.
And how much in advance? So it was in January. When did you go?
Yeah, I think around, it wasn't too early. It was probably late November.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
few months before.
Yeah, a couple of months before. But I mean, I think I checked out just for tickets, going to Augusta a couple of years.
Right.
So it really depends on the tournament. And then it depends too, is it a major? Who's going to be there? What golfers do you want to see? Right. I don't think Scotty Scheffler, he hurt his hand. So I don't think he was at the Sony Open, but before we knew he was going to have such a brutal year, Hideki Matsuyama was there, Colin Morikawa, and again, I wanted to see Corey Connors and he was there.
So would a major have the same opportunity?
I think for sure. I think it's just harder to get. So if you're a club and you get to host one of those golf tournaments, the Mayfair here in Edmonton, private club, but it's going to host a women's.
Yeah, next August, the LPGA.
Yeah. And so I would think that what I witnessed in Hawaii for the Sony Open was that the members are really carrying a lot of the weight because bringing an event like that is good for their club. I'm assuming that, there's a lot of funding that comes with it. Maybe there's whatever they negotiate. Maybe it's improvements to the course, blah, blah, blah. So the members for sure at a club would get behind it. Like I said, that lady that took my application and she was my contact person, she was a member there and she was, volunteering for months and then all 6 days. So I think it depends on the club. It depends on the tournament. I think you just look at the PGA schedule, maybe pick a place you want to go and see what's available.
And I see you brought in your hat. You have your signed by the player's hat. You got a golf ball signed by each of them. Are you a memorabilia collector, from your previous career? Like, do you collect a lot of things?
Not really. I mean, I have a signed Connor McDavid jersey, obviously, but I think I got some Grey Cup balls from when Ricky Ray was here. But this was just something unique and special. And of course, now I can't wear this because it's got our 2 Canadian golfers' signatures on the peak. But yeah, it's up on my shelf and it's kind of neat.
It is a very unique one. You mentioned how your friends at first, like, why would you do it? So, now that you've done it once, you're like, man, I'm not sure I've done it again. But it is, especially if you're a golf fan.
Yeah.
This is like, as a golf fan, you would highly recommend doing it.
Absolutely. Do it once for sure. So again, the commitment for me was 2 days. Some of them, it'll vary by tournament. So check that out. And I picked the Pro-Am because I knew there'd be celebrities there. It was fun to meet John Hamm. He was super nice.
So he was so at the Pro-Am, which golfers were you with?
So I picked Corey Connors again.
Oh, okay.
And then I was with Kim as well.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes you just get super rich people. But there were a few, some of them have some neat celebrities.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah.
And I thought too, it was a good way for me to get my bearings for the real day when you're not supposed to F up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's so did you find at any, like, is it okay, 3 holes in, now I'm pretty comfortable?
Yeah.
Or were you kind of
I was a little
stress
on edge the whole
Yeah.
time because, some players are back, some players are forward, they're putting from different places. You're trying to keep track of the score. I was trying to do a good job.
Yeah. Well, I would think, you're right that they're on average, it's like, okay, well, this guy got a par, they got a par, he got a bogey.
Yeah.
Kind of easy, but every now and then there's a few hockey sticks mixed in there, something like that, right? Even the pros every now and then will have one where they lose it. Was there anything in the crowd that was memorable? Like,
people are jerks.
Oh, really?
No, they're 99% people are awesome. But at a golf event, you get some people who just don't have respect, like someone's shutters going off during a guy's backswing on the tee box. I mean, just stuff like that. So the caddies are crazy protective, as are usually the volunteers on the tee box. And, the people say to me, like, Connor's name is spelled wrong on your sign. I'm like, I know. That's the sign they gave me. So I'm joking. 99% of the people are awesome, but you just get some people that don't sort of understand of what the golfer is trying to do out there and the level of concentration that they have.
And so do they get like a one-time warning or do they just get punted?
I've never seen someone get punted. I'm sure it's happened, but yeah, they'll get a one-time warning and usually that's pretty good.
Awesome. Well, Jen, thanks so much for this. So we got a lot of texts from people saying it like me. I'd never heard about it. And it sounds like an awesome one. This question came in. Do you know, is it one person? Like, could you do this as 2 friends? And if you did it though, well, I guess you wouldn't be able to guarantee that you're going to be on hole 5 and I'm on hole 6.
You can go out with 2. So on the second day, there was actually a very lovely couple from Edmonton doing the same thing. And they've done it for like 5-10 years.
Oh, so they were together.
Yeah. And they went together.
Oh,
now he
okay.
wanted to be with, I can't remember who, but one of the big US names. And she wanted to be with Corey Connors. So on the second day, we actually went out together as a team. So she carried the sign for the back 9 and I carried it for the front or whatever it was, vice versa. And we just kind of helped each other out. But sometimes there are a bit more volunteers, so they'll let some go home.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do it as a partner for sure.
Okay. So they would allow, like, if a husband and wife or, mom and daughter, father, son wanted to do it together.
They did at the tournament I was at.
Okay.
Again, I would caution everybody. You got to check out the tournament and
Okay.
ask those questions to whoever's coordinating you. I think they could all be different.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Jen, thanks so much for this. I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
There you go. That's Jennifer Martin. And if you're a golf aficionado and you want to get inside the ropes, you can just volunteer. Look up each individual tournament. Go to the site, like she did the Sony Open, and you go to the individual site and you can do it. Now, obviously, the Mayfair in Edmonton, if you're local and you want to see, there'll probably be some volunteer opportunities there. That'll be the 52nd Canadian National Women's Open Championship. It goes August 17th to 26th next year. So you got some time, but that might be a trial run for you if you want to check it out. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We got Tater, the 2-minute warning, and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
some jobs are easy, and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Come experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball, Friday, August 1st. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
If you're an experienced RV salesperson, you have to be concerned about the state of the industry right now. With so much uncertainty, companies are downsizing their sales teams, especially at new RV stores. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Nobody knows what the future holds. But here at Noble RV, we're hiring. And we're looking for a very particular kind of RV salesperson. Of course, experience with used RVs is always an asset here.
This role requires a good sense of what the used RV owner needs, how to help them solve problems, and enjoy more of the great outdoors.
You got it, Bob. It's technically a sales position, but with none of the rat race you deal with now. You'd be more of a problem solver, helping RV owners with their ongoing experience. Someone with a few miles on the odometer is the ideal candidate. If you're ready for an exciting new career at Alberta's biggest used RV store, come find me, because there's a future for you here with us.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
To 343 Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope they're having a great day. Hey, Greg's fantastic interview. Super interesting. Jen did a fantastic job explaining her experience. I got to say, these types of guests and interview that you do are more than just regular hockey, football talk. Keeps me dialed in as a regular listener. Awesome job. That one comes from Kamal. Hey, Greg's fantastic stuff, man. I'm a diehard golfer. I never knew that was a possibility. I will be signing up for sure. That one comes from Fred. We got a lot of those. Tim, lots on the emails, actually. People must be listening on the email. They're firing in from the office. Lots of peeps saying, man, this would be ideal. Like, if you're a golfer, that's why I wanted to get Jen in here. I thought it would be fantastic for people to hear exactly what it was like. And hey, you know what? I'll tell you right now, obviously we've had Danny Saul on the show many times, good buddy of mine. Know him way back when we used to do some fun modeling shoots in the early days of the Jason Gregor Show. D's all be a great guy to wheel around with, as a caddy, just kind of on the pro-am day for sure. And, Corey Connors is a beauty of a guy too. So I just think, if you're a golf fan, and even if you like diehard golfers would love it, right? Especially when Jen was explaining, you're right on the tee box. That was the part that I thought was awesome, right? And then around the greens, like you're right there, so you're not way out of the blade. You're watching them on every hole, how they're hitting the irons. And of course, as you're walking with each group, you get to see the whole course. Because a lot of people tell me when they go to a tournament, you kind of pick and choose, certain corners where maybe you get to see 5 or 6 or 7. But to walk the whole course and see every hole and every shot, it's an amazing experience. And to be able to do it together, if you wanted, like maybe your spouse is like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? But I tell you, once they got out there, because first of all, the courses are in unreal shape, right? So it's scenic. It looks great. And I think that even if you're not a diehard golf fan, there's no way you wouldn't appreciate just that experience. So I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, glad that you enjoyed it. Every now and then I got the pulse of our listeners, I think. So that's good. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, a longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy. Cam's in a wheelchair, and due to his disability, was never able to be on radio until now. The wonders of technology, Cam's words, come to life in the 2-minute warning.
We met up Tuesday with Edmonton Riverhawks outfielder Sam Stagg, currently 4th in West Coast League batting with a 348 average. Listen to his voice, and we will tell you where his home is. At the end, Sam will be eligible for the 2026 Major League Baseball draft. Sam, how did you get to Edmonton?
I had a teammate at Central Arizona College. His name is Kai Fike. He played here last summer. He put me in contact with Coach Jake Lanferman, and then throughout the college season, Coach called me and wanted me to come up and play in Edmonton. And I had seen how well they run things up here and the atmosphere that the Riverhawks create here at Remax Field, and that's something I wanted to be a part of.
Tell me how valuable summer ball is.
Summer ball, it creates opportunities for guys to get more games, to get extra reps. There's a lot of guys, even on the Riverhawks, who might not have seen the game time they would have liked at their respective universities, but they can come up here and play every single day for the Riverhawks and continue to play this game on a year-round basis.
Besides winning, is there a part of a game here at Remax Field that keeps getting better?
I think my favorite part is after the games when the kids and everyone runs on the field, and I think I can go to bed or go to sleep happy knowing that I've probably made a really positive impact in someone's life. And whether it's a kid, I think even looking back to my childhood, I had these role models and people who I looked up to.
Sam and the rest of the Riverhawks continue their series tonight at the house, Remax Field, 7 p.m. against the Nanaimo Night Owls. Hey, Gregor, and over there, Connor. Did you hear Max's accent? He's from Adelaide, Australia, also known as the City of Churches. There you go. 2-minute warning. Tate, Gregor, Halley. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sports, 1440.
City of Churches. Learn something new with Tater all the time. I like it. It's good. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's at a golf tournament. It's virtually impossible to keep up with any group, but if you go inside of the ropes, you definitely can see everything. That sounds unreal from Pat. Oh, yeah. Like you're inside the ropes. So, because I know we've got a lot of hey, guys, I've been to many golf tournaments. The biggest challenge is, well, you're even around a hole. Sometimes you're 5-6 rows deep. You can't even see anything. Being inside the ropes, I didn't even know that was possible. That's unreal. I always thought it was just people who worked at the clubs. And it might be, but obviously there's going to be some volunteer opportunities for you. And you know what? Would it matter? I think in an ideal world, yes, you'd love to get the golfer you want, but let's be real. I like how they did it there. Seniority got to pick first. And so, some would pick Scheffler, depends which tournament you're in. But as a Canadian, I think a lot of people, hey, get Nick Taylor. And turns out, and I like what Jen said, she goes, man, I might regret not going on the Sunday because Nick Taylor actually won that tournament. So Maybe he was motivated by the incorrect spelling on Corey Connor's name on day one. And that motivated him to win. We'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got a lot. Gregor, I read your article on McDavid, and I hadn't thought about a one-year deal, but why would you nickel and dime with him? Why wouldn't you do it with other guys on the team from Dave? Well, and Dave used Henrique, Ekholm, Kulak as examples. Well, I guess here's my counter. Number one, I'm not signing Henrique for 4 years. I'm not signing Ekholm for 4 years, and I wouldn't sign Kulak for 4 years. Right? Because the whole strategy of this is it's essentially a 4-year contract that's split up into two separate contracts. If you're just joining the show, the strategy is the McDavid and the Oilers. Do I think they're going to do it? No, because it's outside the box, and a lot of people don't do it, and that's fine. But they could sign McDavid to a 1-year deal at 14 and a half, or heck, it could be 14.1. I don't care. Pick the number, whatever you want. He's still the highest paid guy in the league. Great. Not sure that matters to him that much, but you could have it. Either way, it's 14 mil, 14 and a half. And then it's a 1-year deal. Then the next contract is a 3-year deal, and the AAV is 17 mil. And so it's the same amount of money owed. It's just split up different because you can't change the AAV on a contract. Once you lock it in, if it's 1 year, that's what your AAV is. If it's a 3-year deal, you split it by 3. And even if in 1 year you make 15 in cash, the next year you make 19, the last year you make 17, whatever, it's still an AAV of 17 mil. And the reason I came up with this strategy was it frees up the Oilers when the cap space is $104 million with $2 extra million. And $2 million makes a difference because the next year the cap goes up to 113. The following year, who knows where it's going to go? Might go to 125. Maybe it's 122. Like, that's a significant difference. And so if you can gain $2 million in a cap, that's the difference of a solid third liner, and potentially could be enough extra cap space for you to add a really good piece at the deadline. And we know that cap space is incredibly valuable, especially when you use it well. So the reason you couldn't really do it with guys who I don't want to sign, like on 1-year deals, well, they're not going to take less money significantly on a 1-year deal because McDavid's not taking less money overall. I wasn't asking the best player to take less money. He's still going to get the $64 million. It's just going to be split out over 2 contracts, with the first year being a lower AAV, thus giving them a little higher chance to win. Like look at Florida. Don't tell me cap space doesn't matter, because it does. They had an advantage. They had more. They were over the cap because of the Kachuk, so that helps. But even when Ekblad, which is still to me the most ridiculous rule in sports, is that, if you cross-check a guy in the face and you get suspended, you count on the roster. If you take steroids and you get suspended, you don't count on the team's roster. You're just suspended, but it doesn't hurt them. I'm like, what? Why? I don't get that. I don't like that strategy. And they didn't put it in, but I really think the NHL missed the boat and not following the footsteps of MLB. If you get suspended for suspension use at any point in the season, let's say you get suspended in game 20 and you got a 20 or 30 game suspension. You come back in game 50, you finish the regular season, you get paid, but you're ineligible for the playoffs. That's how it is in Major Leagues Baseball. And I think the NHL, I know they might think they don't have a steroid problem, but why not be proactive? Why not wait till it happens a second time? And then you realize, oh, geez, look at this team. They had a guy suspended 20 games, comes back, plays over 20 minutes a night in the playoffs, and helps them win a cup. Is that really what we want? Honestly, is it really what you want? So, hey, Greg's, I like your idea. I wish you would have brought it up for Bouchard. Yeah, well, you know what? I just kind of thought about it yesterday, to be honest, so a little bit too late for that. And what did Bouchard? He signed a 3-year deal, right? So, see, the thing, plus he's not a UFA, and so there's some things that change into it, of course. But even then, McDavid's still a lot higher, right? So you could do it with Bouchard, but to make up the savings, it's not going to be close to $2 million. It's just hard to do that when you have less money and a shorter term to make up that, the less you take the first year to make it up over the next 3 years without having a ridiculously higher cap That's why I didn't think about it with Bouchard, but I don't think it would have worked with Bouchard, unfortunately. Hey, guys. Curious what your thoughts are about, I know I hear everybody talk about the benefits for the U.S. teams and the no state tax, but has anybody ever crunched the numbers about the Canadian players or Canadian team players getting paid in American funds while living in Canada? Yeah, I've discussed it many times. And so, for instance, just because I think sometimes people forget how much of an impact it is right now, right? Because it's a huge deal when it comes to the Canadian dollar to the. So you look at Leon Draisaitl. I'll just use him as an example, right? He just got paid $15 million American on July 1st. Do you know what that translates into Canadian money? 20.75 and change million Canadian. So if you're a Canadian player who lives full-time in Canada, you're now making 20 mil Canadian. So you get paid taxes on that, 50%. Now you're taking home 10. Right now, you're an American player who because cost of living in some of those markets are different. That's a big advantage. I don't think a lot of people really focus on. Because again, while the Florida players have no state tax, they're still paying federal tax. So they're paying the 37% like everybody else. They have about anywhere from, well, Colorado only has 4% state tax. So 4% up to 14. I think New York has the highest. So that's the difference, right? Anywhere you'll save 4 to 14%. But that's not on the full season, because now when you travel, whether you play in Florida or whether you play in Edmonton, now you're paying the entertainment tax that a lot of these states have. So you're paying that regardless, right? So there's different ways where, you're getting taxed on different things. And so they do save some, but then here's your cost of living that you come into. Then you take into effect, what a Canadian-born player, now it doesn't necessarily help the Europeans as much, but if you're residing year-round in Canada, getting paid in American dollars is a massive advantage. It just is. Massive advantage. So, because if you're American, right, and you live full-time in the U.S., and you get paid 10 mil, right, now you're getting the 37% tax instead of 50% tax, right? So you're going to take home, 6.3 instead of 5. Okay, big difference. But if you're making 10 mil in Canada, your home country, well, now you're getting 13.8. So even if you take that at 50% tax, what's 50% tax of 13.8? Right? 6.9. So it's still higher than what they're making in Florida for take home for the country that you're residing in and where you go and where you spend all your money. But no one ever wants to talk about that because it doesn't fit with the narrative of woe me and, Florida and Tampa. They didn't win their cups because of the state tax. Vegas, Florida, and Tampa won, funny enough, 3 cups. When guess what? A $9.5 million player came into their playoff lineup. Tampa, Kucherov, Vegas, Stone, Tkachuk, Florida. That's a significant other advantage. Now, those teams were also run very well. I don't discount what the Tampa Bay, unbelievable drafting. And none of their top guys have ever signed a great discount deal. That's the other part that people don't want to listen to. Oh, well, they make more in taxes. Yeah, but if you're paying Barkov $10 million at the time he signed, that wasn't a deal. Go look at it. Go look at what his numbers were. He'd scored over 80 points once. Got $10 million. Great. It wasn't a bargain deal. All the Tampa guys were paid at their position, in some cases top 3, other cases as high, as low as top 7. They weren't major discounts. Not at all. Tkachuk wasn't a deal. Tkachuk got the same amount of money in Florida, no state tax, than Johnny Gaudreau got in Columbus, state tax. So yes, Matthew Tkachuk made more money, but the Florida Panthers they didn't gain cap space from it. So that's why I've always been somewhat confused by the suggestions of this. Oh, it's such a big advantage. Well, if it's a big advantage, it's a big advantage for the players. The organizations haven't gotten huge savings on these contracts. Is Sam Bennett really at $8 million of savings? No. It's Brad Marchand for 6 years. It's going to go until he's 43. You're telling me that's a savings? Come on. I don't buy it. Let's get to the con man. Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Red Deer Resort and Casino. August getaways just got hotter. They're going to have a flash sale on August 5th and 6th, and where you can lock 15% off VIP extras only at Red Deer Resort and Casino.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
A couple signings in the NHL today. Flames signing Martin Impossible to a 3-year extension. The Winnipeg Jets reaching a 3-year, $17.25 million deal with restricted free agent defenseman Dylan Samberg to avoid arbitration. Major League Baseball today, the Jays victorious over the Orioles, winning 9-8, wrapping up their series. They'll kick off the series with the Royals on Friday. Deals with the Tigers over the Diamondbacks 7-2. Twins fall to the Red Sox 13-1. Cubbies over the Brewers 10-3. Astros finish off the Nationals 9-1, and it was the Royals over the Braves 1-0 in extras. Some trades as the deadline approaches. Mariners bringing in pitcher Caleb Ferguson from the Pirates for Jeter Martinez, and the Mets acquire Tyler Rogers from the San Francisco Giants for Blade Tidwell, Drew Gilbert, and Jose Budo. WNBA tonight, 3 games on the schedule. Lynx and Liberty. You got the Dream taking on Arlington, and the Fever host the Mercury. In town, the Riverhawks taking on Nanaimo once again. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. And from the CFL, Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be out without starting quarterback Zach Collaros when they take on Toronto on Friday night. Coming up in hour number 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be talking some Edmonton Riverhawks with the Director of Fun, Steve Hogle. We'll also ask 5 questions and discuss the Washington Commanders with beat reporter Ben Standig. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodle.
There did you still my
Delivering you the news almost right away.
Indeed, the only regulated online gambling web.
So stay on your couch all day and order oodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
You got it. Go to
We return on the Jason Gregor Show. Sports.
Even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name
and Instagram.
Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939.
Suggestions of this.
Crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The Hoot City 3x3 Festival takes over the Ice Palace at West Edmonton Mall from July 31st to August 3rd. See professionals and Olympians battle for ranking points and cash prizes in 3 different FIBA 3x3 events. Free admission. Details at sports1440.ca.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
Edmonton Elks Salute to Service, presented by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. August 2nd, 1300 hours. EE battles the Ticats. Catch the Royal Canadian Air Force pregame flyover, the Salute to Service flag football tournament, and more. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Halfway through the Wednesday edition of the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening, watching the show. As always, we are officially 1 day away from the MLB trade deadline. There's been some trades. The most recent one, of course, the Mariners receive Caleb Ferguson from the Pittsburgh Pirates for Jeter Martinez. You had twin brothers traded in separate deals earlier today. The Mets receiving right-handed pitcher Tyler Rogers, submariner, and then his twin brother Taylor Rogers was traded from Cincinnati to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, of course, everybody knew they're going to move out some guys. Ferguson's gone. Hayes is gone. I wonder who else they're going to move out before tomorrow. The Yankees got a bat and Austin Slater from the White Sox. The Braves get Tyler Kinley from the Rockies. Garcia and Chafin go to the LA Angels. Funny enough, they're 4 games out. They got about 3 teams between them and the final wildcard spot, but they're not rolling over. So we'll see. Should be an interesting time in MLB. The Jays, by the way, an afternoon game today. Finally leave Baltimore with a win, and that gives them 64 wins on the season for the Jays, tied with the Detroit Tigers in the AL, both with identical records of 64 and 46. Then the Astros have 61 wins over in the NL. The Brewers also with 64, the Dodgers 63, the Mets and the Cubbies 62, the Phillies with 61. So it is it's tight race for best record in baseball, tight race for best record in each league, and trade deadline might be the difference. Somebody's going to make a big acquisition. I actually like the deal for the Jays yesterday. They didn't give a whole bunch for a guy who's got playoff experience and has done very well in the playoffs, striking out 27 batters in 17 postseason innings. So Dominguez, it's a pretty good deal for the Jays. Now, let's go talk a little, speaking of baseball, the Edmonton Riverhawks, of course, a huge crowd again last night. The Hawks, now, I don't have official on this, but our next guest will know the answer. But I think the Hawks are leading the league once again in attendance. Steve Hogle from the Riverhawks joins us again. Stevie, how you doing?
I'm outstanding, Jason Gregor. How about you and your team?
Hey, I'm pretty good. You guys leading the league in attendance? You got to be leading the league in attendance again?
Yeah, we are, and God bless our fans. They've been showing up in rather drizzly weather throughout most of this season, and last night was gorgeous, and we crushed it. So, yeah, more than 7K last night for a Tuesday night game.
Well, that's good. What's on tap tonight? Any special? I know you guys are always doing fun things. What's going on tonight?
We got a little Adam Sandler night going tonight, and so part and parcel with that is dodgeball with the U of A Lister Hall gang, big monster dodgeball after the game. So I think we also might have to bust out the slip and slides with the way this weather's shaping up.
That's not a bad idea, man. It's going to be like you look at this will definitely be the hottest homestand of the year for the Riverhawks. We're 28 to 30 degrees on Friday. It's going to be 28 or 29 again on Saturday. Like you've kind of been waiting for a hot streak like this, and your team's right in the mix, which obviously helps. One game back of Victoria for first place in the second half race.
Yeah, I think that it was a perfect storm for an awesome crowd last night. You mentioned the weather, you mentioned the playoff race, and then this last night, tonight, and tomorrow night are the last opportunities to use unused tickets. So there's that opportunity for fans. So I think that all came together. We had the Prince of Puns, Gene Principe, in the house, so he was a ton of fun, and he's a draw as well. So yeah, it was a smoking on all fronts.
So you have Nanaimo tonight and tomorrow, and then Kelowna comes in on the weekend, and then you actually do have your first Monday game of the year to finish up the season, where you go to Victoria. So what's that travel like after Sunday? It's a matinee game on Sunday, so it shouldn't be that bad. You're flying right out after the matinee game?
Yeah, they'll scoot out and make short order of that trip, get out there as quick as possible, because that's got the potential to be a massive series. We've got a makeup game with Victoria, so 4 games actually out there. Oh. And we're going head-to-head with those guys for the second half pennant, and that gives you the second seed out of 4 teams for the playoffs. So it's the difference between hosting 1 or 2 playoff games, and those will come next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a week from this weekend.
So when's the doubleheader game going to be? Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday next week?
The first game, because they'll always want to try to get that doubleheader in first, just on the off chance you run into some greasy weather, and then you've got 2 other chances to make up games if need be.
Okay, so you're playing 2 games. So you're going to have to play Sunday, and then you got I'm assuming, is it like what are you playing? 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock in Victoria?
Yeah, and 7-inning games for the doubleheader.
Okay. So you look overall, the Bells have 29 wins. You got 27. Victoria has 26. So what if by chance you end up with the most wins, but you lose the second half?
It's a funky format. So the Bells got the first playoff spot by winning the first half pennant. So now we're fighting for the second half pennant, which is the second seed. And then once you get past those 2 teams, the next 2 playoff spots go to the 2 teams that have the best overall records that don't currently have a playoff spot. Follow the bouncing ball. But we should have 1 or 2 games the following week.
Okay, so because if you're the number 2 seed, you get the first 2 games at home. Is that how it works?
You get games 2 and 3.
Games 2 and 3. Okay, so
yeah.
So you're either going to start at home for 1 game or get back potentially for games 2 and 3, and that starts as you mentioned. That would start on the weekend of the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
That's right. Yep.
And then what about the next round? Does it go in the weekday or do you wait till the weekend?
It will kick in right away with the travel day in between, but it's strange, another wonky curveball, so to speak, because once you get past those initial best of 3 series, then you're into 1 game, winner takes all. 1 game for the North Division Championship, and then 1 game for the WCL Championship. Winner takes all, and then the condensed playoff schedule is due to the need to get these kids back to their schools.
Yeah, which makes sense. But my question would be, why wouldn't you play the single elimination games in the quarterfinal?
I am familiar with that argument, and I think that makes total sense to me.
Okay. So has the league discussed this? Do you think that's something they might change in the future?
I think that it's getting a little bit more momentum each year. And I think the current format has been in place for a number of years. And so, but I do think that there's a strong argument to sort of flip-flop the format.
And Steve, looking at it overall from, you mentioned the crowds have been great. You learn something new every year with the Riverhawks. What's maybe impressed you most about this year for your team?
Well, it's been a real interesting year because our hitting has been unreal. We have had, the 1 game we had 4 home runs, including a grand slam. So the power of the hitters, Max Nick, and all these guys carry heavy bat. So that's really been impressive. And the pitching has been good, not always great. So it's made for some very entertaining games. and so there's been quite a bit of hitting at the ballpark. And this park, it's a big ballpark, and to have guys knock it out of here is pretty impressive.
Well, I was just going to say, it seems that your teams hit more home runs this year. Am I just dreaming, or is that true?
Absolutely true. Jason Green has 2 grand slams. So, yeah, you're right on the mark. It is a big hitters team for sure. And then part of the challenge at this time of year and on the home stretch and in the playoffs is it's strange because it's a little bit of a fluid roster because, as I say, some guys are banged up, and if they've got an injury that might derail them from the start of their school season, odds are that school's going to call that kid back. And then you also have pitchers hitting pitch counts and have to go back, have to tap out for the year as well. So, we're really fortunate in the fact that we've got this collegiate program that has grown so much. So we've got some quality arms, some quality players in the collegiate ranks. That's the collegiate Hawks, the guys that go to U of A and Nate and places like that and play great ball. So we can pull guys up fairly easily from those guys, those ranks as well. So that's a real nice ace in our sleeve.
Yeah. Well, Steve, you mentioned tonight. What about on the weekend? You've always got some fun. The game itself is very fun, but you guys always have lots of good activities going on. What do you got planned for the final weekend at home for the fans?
Yeah, so tomorrow night, we got Sandler tonight, as I mentioned. Tomorrow night, we go with a foodie night. And on Friday night, we've got an Avid dance party with Avid's biggest fan, Jason Gregor, in attendance in center stage. Saturday night, back to the 90s, and we are giving away replica stadiums because this is the 30th birthday of RE/MAX Field.
Oh, okay.
And then on Sunday, Christmas comes early and all sorts of gifts to give away on Fan Appreciation Day. So, all sorts of shenanigans planned.
And crowds are obviously looking very good for the weekend. The weather's going to be unbelievable. So remind everybody to hydrate, be a little hot at the games. And we look forward to it. And we look forward to finding out. Well, we probably won't find out until next Wednesday, potentially, just because you're playing Victoria, whether you're going to open at home or open on the road.
That's right. Could go right down to the wire. But, yeah, get down here early. Think about different ways to get here. Biking, scooting, ride sharing. Parking down here is always a challenge. So get here early and for sure stay hydrated. We've got some awesome Epcor water stations here now, which are a game changer for our fans. So really nice to have those. A nice, easy place to fill up water bottles to sort of counterbalance the beer bats.
Yeah, that's a good counterbalance, Steve. I love it, man. Always good to catch up with you. Continued success. Another great year.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Jay.
There you go. That's Steve Hogle from the Edmonton Riverhawks. And if you haven't gone to a Riverhawks game, honestly, what are you waiting for? It's like this weekend, it's phenomenal. It's so relaxing. You sit outside. It's hot. Right. So make sure you put on some sunscreen. And you know what? There's lots of water fountains around too to keep hydrating. Obviously, you can get the beer bat if you like, but you'll have a great time. And you know what? 7,000 fans down in the ballpark. Like it's beautiful in the River Valley right now. So check it out. We'll return. We'll continue to update you on the trades. Also, we'll continue our preview. Got lots more texts coming in on the Oilers ideas and a few other ones. Should we look at other creative ways? Because honestly, you don't just have to do what everybody else does. There's nothing wrong with thinking outside the box to make it work. And I know people say, well, Greg, if you do a 1-year deal, McDavid could leave. Why? If he agrees to do the 1-year deal, it's because he wants to do the other 3-year deal, right? That's just, it's kind of, it goes hand in hand. Right? You're not going to say, hey, do one. Well, geez, I'm not really happy. No, you're doing it because it illustrates there's a trust here. And I do believe there's some people in Edmonton who have to get over their fear of McDavid leaving. Because I don't really believe it's healthy. Stop listening to the people out of town who want to drag down your city. They have no idea what they're talking about. Connor McDavid, the relationship between McDavid and the organization is incredibly strong. I've talked to people on both sides of it. It's incredibly strong. The Oilers dominated the West last year in the playoffs. Okay? They went 12-2 after, kind of sleepwalking through 2 games. Yeah, they lost to a good Florida team. No question. Where's he going to go that's so much better? There's nowhere. Believe that the team you cheer for is good. I'm stunned by the lack of belief from some people. I don't really get it. Like, I get it that the people out, they all want McDavid. So that's why they throw out things. Oh, yeah, he's not happy. Oh, geez, he hasn't signed on July 1st. He clearly is unhappy. What? Of course not. Yeah, Leon Draisaitl was so unhappy that he signed on September 3rd. Oh, geez. Terrible. Even though that number is something they had talked about for a long time. And trust me, these guys aren't just thinking year to year. It's a plan because there's no guarantee on a 1 year. You want to be someplace where you feel we got a chance every year for the next 5 or 6 years. And that's what Edmonton has. They have a legitimate shot. They're not going to win every year, but they got a legitimate shot every year. That's why he'll stay. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific. It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Remaining cyber safe is critical. Check in with your loved ones. Chat to your kids about online safety. Warn elders about scams. Let's ensure everyone's secure in this interconnected world. Learn more at getcybersafe.gc.ca. Remember, being informed is the first line of defense.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go, Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO. Visit park2go.ca. That's RADIO.
Great news! Metal Supermarkets now offers convenient welding services for their customers. Simple Weld, steel, stainless, and aluminum welding. TIG, MIG, and stick are all available. TIG, MIG, and stick. Sounds like my old garage band with their kooky nicknames. Yeah, we were huge in Japan, but never really caught on here. Your loss, Edmonton. Metal Supermarkets, your local convenience stores for... and welding. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit ontherocks.yeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
For 24, welcome back. A sunny, beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Man, it's going to be the hottest week of the summer. No question, shaping up 28, 29, 30, 31 degrees. Oof. Sunday, a little reprieve. Looks like there's some rain, so enjoy the heat. Boys and girls, hydrate. Get some sunscreen on, and you rock and roll. Rock and roll. Now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in the province. They have 4 divisions. So whether you need help in projects or service, 24-hour emergency service, certified uniform technicians. They got TAG, preventative maintenance for your electrical distribution, infrared ultrasonic, and of course, both solar and EV. That's actionelectrical.net. And we continue our NFL previews. Today, we stop in Washington to check out the Commanders. Ben Standig joins us from the Commanders beat. Ben, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I would have to think this is the most excitement because last year no one thought your rookie quarterback was going to be that good. So they come into the season now in Washington, like, man, we got Jaden Daniels and, at the Deebo Samuel and, Terry McLaurin. Now, we'll see what happens, with him and everything, Brian Robinson Jr. Like they got some pieces, but let's start with that quarterback and Jaden Daniels and just what an unbelievable rookie season he had. And just the poise and the maturity from the player. You had to be surprised at just how good he played all year for them.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, even with high expectations, you can make the argument that he had the greatest rookie season in NFL history. It sounds crazy, but when you consider, the individual production that he took a team, he had help, of course, but took a team that went 4 wins the year before to a 12-5 record, the most wins for the organization since 1991, which is also the same year, the last time this franchise made the NFC Championship game. So, and of course they did that this year. And I think most of all, beyond the obvious passing skills and his mobility, the maturity, the poise, it was almost frustrating as a reporter when he would have one of these, amazing moments one after another, and he would act like it was sort of this, he's in line waiting to order at Chipotle. He really didn't have, it was like, come on, it's something. Let's see the pulse, the emotions. I'm sure he showed it with his teammates, but yeah, he's just very calm, cool, and I think the team fed off of that.
And so, when you look at what he did, we've seen some rookies or other people have a really good year, and then you're like, man, that's a career year for him. His numbers were great, no question about it. But what areas did he show to say this is why I believe it's sustainable for him to be a top quarterback?
Well, I think the mentality, that calm that I just mentioned. Look, the world wanted a piece of Jaden Daniels this offseason. Any opportunity he would have wanted to do would have been available to him because of the type of year that he had. Also, look, he won the Heisman the year before, so he's had quite the run. And yet he's an admitted, introvert homebody type. He just focuses on football for the most part, stayed in Southern California where he's from, works with his quarterback coach, met with some of the Commanders players in the offseason. And, that heart level of work that you put in, he's also the guy that gets to the building at 5 a.m. all the time. It was something that was really noticeable right off the bat from the other players. Then again, this is combined with, unbelievable pinpoint accuracy on deep shots, his ability to, he's maybe not the fastest quarterback, but he's pretty fast, but not the fastest. But his ability to get around defenders is pretty impressive. So yeah, you just put that all together, and outside of the injury concern, he's a pretty thin frame. Other than that, it's hard to see what's going to go wrong here that would make me think it's going to go backwards this year or maybe ever.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And I think that's obviously a great thing for Commanders fans and really for the league. You're always looking for the kind of that next, few dominant players. What do you make of the McLaurin situation?
Yeah, this has definitely gone on longer than I thought. To me, going back when he skipped some OTAs in minicamp, and you're like, okay, he'd done this in 2022. They got a deal done. This is not unusual. Other players around the league, and in this case, it just seemed to be kind of obvious to me. It's not my money, of course, but I know the DK Metcalf signed for $33 million this offseason, and they were in the same draft class. But that $30 million mark seemed to be a reasonable compromise if the Commanders were going to go less. And yet it feels like the McLaurin side is going even above or at 2 Metcalf or above, and the Commanders are at that 28, but really below it and maybe significantly below it. And for now, nobody seems to be willing to budge. I still imagine it gets done, but like I said, I thought it would be done by day 1 of training camps, and now we're a week in. McLaurin's holding in, but the last 3 days of practice, he came out after practice to talk to fans. It was very innocent and nice, but at the same point, there's clearly some gamesmanship going on between the two sides. So I don't know when this is getting resolved, and that is starting to, I think, freak everybody out a little bit.
Discussing the Washington Commanders here on the Jason Gregor Show with Ben Standig, Ben Connor Halley here. Just looking at some of the players that the Commanders were able to bring back, and you look at Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner, getting Von Miller here. These are guys who are deep into their NFL careers who want to win. What is the belief going into this season, and how far can they go? I mean, they were just a game away from the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting question. I mean, look, obviously they improved dramatically last year. They were fortunate; they were the ones that had the better schedule. They went weeks and weeks without facing like a legit starting quarterback. And the last 5 wins of the year, or there was a 5-game stretch at the end of the year, basically where they won on the literal last play from a scrimmage, or at least the game was decided at that moment. So much went their way. They practiced a lot of these end game situations, but so do other teams. Is that going to be sustainable? Can you really win that way as often as they did? But then you can factor in they're playing arguably the 2 toughest divisions outside in football this year as their outside games, meaning the NFC North and the AFC West. Tons of quarterbacks they're going to face, really good ones. And then the NFL wanted to put them on national TV as much as possible. So there's not too many 1 o'clock games when you get to like October on. And so they're really going to be kind of pulled in multiple directions with regard to the schedule. So there's a lot to deal with, but based on what they did last year with Jaden Daniels, I certainly give them a shot to do it. They could be a better team and yet have a worse record for all those variables that I just said.
And just sticking with the wide receiver, and we know what Terry McLaurin is going to do, win if he eventually does sign. But I want to ask you about Deebo Samuel and Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah, obviously Deebo Samuel was a bit of a interesting acquisition that they made. He was coming off a poor season. There were definitely some questions about, what's he got left, the way he plays. He plays with a lot of power and energy. If that starts to go, then what? Obviously, training camp is a lot of T-shirts and shorts, so you can't get too crazy. But he's looked pretty good, and the chemistry with Jaden Daniels looks pretty evident. If you didn't know that they're just catching up to each other this year, you would think that they had already been together for a bit. Now he's not going to be able to fill in on the outside. Should McLaurin continue to sit, but he gives them a big weapon. Luke McCaffrey is one of those younger players who's getting that opportunity to play more in practice with McLaurin out. Noah Brown, their other outside starter, has been in and out of practices because of a knee issue. McCaffrey's got the athletic tools. Last year his biggest contribution was as a kick returner. He was pretty strong there towards the end of the year. And, I think he's got a good feel for what needs to happen at receiver. But that said, can he, beat a guy one-on-one? Can he make the plays in the red zone? I think we need to see more, but, they like him and he still got the opportunity to become a starter, if not this year, then, in the near future.
Ben Standig joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, looking at the Commanders. Looking at the defense, a few additions made this year, and we saw in the NFC Championship game, the Philadelphia Eagles kind of ran roughshod on them, and we saw that offense do that to a lot of teams. But they bring in Javad Kinlaw, you get Von Miller, Jonathan Jones in the secondary with Will Harris coming over from New Orleans. What are you expecting out of this defense this season?
Yeah, this is if they are going to sustain that contender level, and we believe that Daniels will have the offense at least be at a pretty good clip most of the year, the defense is really going to have to step up. They were brutal against the run last year. Saquon Barkley, I lost track of how many yards and touchdowns he got against them, but it was quite a bit. But look, last year, they were sort of just cobbling the whole roster together. I think the defense is where they had some more of the issues, but their cornerback room is far superior to where it was a year ago they'll have Marshawn Lattimore at the start of the year and looks like healthy, as opposed to last year when he came in mid-season and hurt and it didn't go too great. They didn't add a dynamic pass rusher per se, but they add Von Miller, who's got the most active sacks, most sacks among active players in the league. He had still a pretty good year last year with Buffalo in more of a limited role. They signed Javon Kinlaw. They got a lot bigger up front. I think that's going to make a big difference. So this is year 2 of the roster build, and I think they're making steps in the right direction. But again, is it enough when we get to the playoffs to be able to shut down the Eagles or the Packers or the Lions? I don't know. That's the big question. But if they can get to the middle of the pack, that would go a long way towards this team being a legit contender.
I want to look at their first-round selection, Josh Connerly Jr. Out of Oregon. Obviously, they got Larry Tunzel at left tackle. He's not going to go there just yet, but Connerly can play right tackle, or maybe he's going to play inside. I know I see him. He's been working out. How's he looked? When you got a great quarterback, it's hugely important to have great protectors of him in front. How's he looked as a rookie?
He's been okay. I mean, I give him a lot of grace. There are some guys who come into the league at, say, 21 years old, and it feels like they are, an adult who's been around the block a little bit. Josh Connerly is 21, he left college as a true junior, and feels like a little bit of a, deer, a baby deer learning how to run, kind of. I mean, he actually has really good footwork, but just like he's still trying to figure his way out. They have Andrew Wiley, who was a starting right tackle last year, and I don't think it would be stunning to me if he ends up starting early or if they rotate the two tackles. But Connerly's upside is pretty impressive. He's also having to learn the right side. This was not his.
Yes.
This is not his norm. So he's having to do that as well, and that's a tough task coming into the league and having to deal with these men who are pass rushing and very, very good. So he looks good, but I don't know if it looks week 1 good yet.
Oh, okay. So that position is still up for grabs. Any of the other, because they didn't have, I think they got Trey Amos out of Ole Miss, and then they didn't have a third rounder. So none of their picks. Like, what about with Krosky Merritt, the running back? Where do you see him fitting in?
Yeah, he's been a very interesting player going into the offseason. Everybody knew this was a draft considered to be stacked at running back, and they've got a power runner in Brian Robinson. They've got a veteran pass catcher in Austin Eckler, but they didn't really have a lot of big play potential out of the backfield. They wanted that, and they wait till literally the last running back picked in the 7th round to get one. And I don't want to go crazy because, again, it's only training camp, but Krosky Merritt has looked really good. He had a weird situation. His last year he transferred to Arizona, played 1 game, and then the NCAA looked back at his past at Alabama State and declared he was ineligible to play anymore. It's a weird story. In any event, he doesn't play basically last year. Stock falls, I think, accordingly. He might have gone in the middle rounds if he had played, but he didn't. And he's got this one-cut burst that they get up the field. He runs with power. If they feel comfortable with him as like a pass blocker, then I think he has a real chance to get high in the rotation sooner than later. But at a minimum, he gives them that explosive big play potential if they need it.
Okay. Obvious playoff team, do you find?
I didn't hear you say that again. Sorry.
Do you see them as an obvious playoff team for you, or is it not? It's not so much an obvious based on their schedule.
We know how this league goes, right? You can go from worst to first, but you can also fall out. I mean, I don't know about obvious. The NFC's got some weird situations this year, right? The Lions lost their coordinators. The Vikings lost their quarterback. We'll see what J.J. McCarthy does. Is Philadelphia going to be able to stay at the high level that they were at, et cetera? So, Washington's in the mix there somewhere. I definitely think they've got a puncher's chance to, get the 10+ wins with Jaden Daniels in particular. But, if you told me that, at the end of the day, a missed kick or a little hiccup somewhere or whatever, and they, finish, 9-8, I think their over-under is like 9.5. So if they finish 9-8 and don't make it, I'm not going to say, wow, that's terrible. But I don't think it's inconceivable. So I think I would give them a shot to make it for sure. Now I'd probably put them in right now, but I don't know if it's a lock, even though they, had such a great year last year.
Ben, great stuff, man. We really appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of preseason.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
There you go, Ben Standig from the Commanders. And it's interesting, like they had a really good year last year, but when you only have 12 teams making the playoffs, 14 teams making the playoffs, excuse me. It's still difficult from year to year. And schedule cons, like they kind of got one of the worst schedules just based on the fact that the two divisions are playing, or they're arguably playing the two best divisions in football.
Yeah, and then, you go from being a fourth place team where you get to play all the other fourth place teams in your conference to a second place team, and the competition rises right there. But I was such a big fan of what their general manager, Adam Peters, did. I've said it multiple times. Like, that was the guy I really wanted the Chargers to hire, the assistant in San Fran. Commanders bring him in, and they turn it around immediately. Like, he's just done such a good job of bringing these players in. And yeah, I mean, I think things are starting to change with that organization, because for a long time, like, why would you want to go there? Like, nothing good really came out of Washington. But now you're starting to see it become a destination for these veteran players who want a chance to win. So crazy what they've done so quickly. It's going to be a lot tougher, like you said, with a tougher schedule. But from what we've seen from Jaden Daniels, he looks like the guy who can get them to where they want to be.
Well, it's amazing. People can talk about nice weather wherever you're at. If you build a winning franchise, people want to come. Look at Edmonton. Edmonton's terrible. Yeah, the team was terrible. Players don't care that much about the winner. You might have a small percentage, but trust me, there's lots of Americans that want to come to any Canadian market. That's their choice. Great. I wouldn't want them anyway. But guys who want to win, Edmonton's at the top of the list of destinations right now because they can win. They don't care about geography. Don't care about anything else. 99% of them, they're like, I want to win. And then you come here and, you have Adam Henrique and, his wife experiences the playoffs. She's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So, then you got Ekholm's wife who loves the cold weather. So there's lots of different reasons why. But to me, winners, it's like Florida. It's not the state tax. Players weren't flocking to Florida from 1997 until 2018. The weather was the same. The taxes were the same. The team sucked. Oh, now the team's competitive. People want to go there. Great. Right now, they locked up a lot of their guys long-term. We'll see how it works. But they've had an unreal run. It's not because of the weather. It's not because of the state taxes. Bill Zito's done an amazing job. Look at the trades he's made. Just look at them. Look at the players he acquired and who he gave up in those deals. Sam Reinhart for a second rounder, huge win. Sam Bennett, huge win. Kachuk, and he gave up Hubert Owen-Weegar, still a win. Right? When he had acquired Brandon Montour for a pick, huge win. Now they let him walk in free agency, and they're like, oh, we'll go out and we'll acquire Seth Jones. We give up our backup goalie, who was making 4.5 because we weren't even sure about how good Bob would be anymore. But the deals he's made, spectacular trades. That's why they won. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. And, of course, brought to you by playalberta.ca. You can always text us 833-401-1440 in our inbox.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Reports suggest the Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings, like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick. saving you more.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go. Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO. Visit park2go.ca. That's RADIO.
You're listening to The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton Elks salute to service. Presented by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. August 2nd, 1300 hours. EE battles the Ticats. Catch the Royal Canadian Airport pregame flyover, the Salute to Service flag football tournament, and more. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth EE football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, Gregor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It's time for 5 questions. 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, and it's the final day of the Brick Block Party. Price mount down portable air conditioners start at just $2.99. Oh man, you probably use one of those right now. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $1.99, and you get a Samsung Smart TV 65-incher. $7.99 at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1 for you. We've heard Stan Bowman encourage more of the contract talks with Connor McDavid's camp. If you had to pick a day, what day would you say the contract is signed?
Come on now. Yeah, the day when he puts his name in the contract. I don't know. When am I going on holidays? It'll happen sometime during my holidays. How about that? So I will say, actually, I think it's probably early August, to be honest, but I'll actually say August 18th.
All right. Yeah, I think last year was kind of the offer sheets, right, when you went on vacation.
Yeah,
kept us busy for a week.
Yeah, that was early August. Yeah, and then, September 3rd is when Draisaitl will sign. In case people are wondering,
I'm going to say August 15th. I'm just going to go right in the middle of the month. I like the number 15, and we'll roll with that one. Question number 2 for you. Per Charlie McAvoy, he thinks the Boston Bruins will not have a captain this season. With Marchand being traded last year, they went with that one to wrap up the season. I think it's going to come down to Pastrnak or McAvoy in the future. But if you were choosing the team's next captain, who would it be, and would you consider doing it this season?
Who would be my next captain? Good question. Pasternak's a pretty big personality. He's a pretty laid back guy. I don't know them well enough to know who would be it, but I'm going to say McAvoy. That's who they'll go with.
Yeah, both guys, I mean, they're locked up till 2029, 2030. Both have been the leadership group the last 3 years. So one of the two for sure. And I don't know why they're not. I would do it this year. Just, I think those guys are obviously going to be around for a while. I would probably go Pastrnak, but I like both options. I don't know why they wouldn't do it this year, but that's their call. Question number 3 for you. Since we discussed the Commanders today, give me your top 3 players to play in the organization.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with guys that I've seen play. So it kind of limits their glory years, the Riggins and those types of guys. Honorable mention to maybe Ryan Kerrigan and Trent Williams, but my top 3 will be London Fletcher at 3, Champ Bailey at 2, although I know most of his success came with the Broncos, and number 1, one of my favorite players of all time, the late, great Sean Taylor.
Yeah, well, Darryl Green might have been the fastest NFL player I've ever seen. He was unreal. Art Monk, that's I'm going with Art Monk. I remember him a lot. And Doug Williams, I know they won, but he wasn't. I wouldn't put him on that list. I might go with I'll go with the guy for many years who was damn good. I'm going to go Clinton Portis.
He was a very good player, good fantasy player for sure. Question number 4 for you. If you could follow in the footsteps of Jennifer Martin and go volunteer at any golf event, what are you choosing?
Well, you know where I stand. Like, her idea is pretty unique. That's something I would do. It's inside the lines. I think it'd be great. It would make the experience of a golf tournament much better. But if I had to pick one, it's Augusta all day long. I just don't think you could do it there, but that'd be the one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that would be quite outstanding for sure. I was thinking maybe Pebble Beach. It's quite a nice looking course down in California. Spot I'd like to be at. So Pebble Beach, I think, would be the one I might go for. And maybe I like her Pro-Am idea as well, also, for a chance to, maybe meet a celebrity or two. I think that'd be kind of cool. Final question for you today. Arnold Schwarzenegger turning 78 years old today. He's got a ton of movies, a ton of classics, but what would be your top 3?
Ooh, go ahead.
I mean, the classics are, and these are the ones like my dad was like, you got to watch these. And I love the one-liners that he had in some of them. For a good festive movie, Jingle All the Way would be 3. I'll say Kindergarten Cop at 2. And I mean, it's one we had to watch in the movie watch, Terminator.
Terminator was unreal.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of good ones, man. I'm gonna go with I like, for just my 3 favorites.
Your 3, absolutely.
In no particular order, I'm going Predator, Total Recall, and True Lies with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Good pick.
Yeah. So I did like Kindergarten Cop when he was John Kimball. It's a classic, especially when he beat up the abusive dad outside. I thought that was an awesome scene. So that was kind of the first time you'd seen Arnie in any sort of like, different role where he wasn't like, super physical or anything. So that's kind of what made it pretty good. So he's had a lot of pretty solid movies when you think about it.
Twins with DeVito?
Twins is another good one. Commando.
Yeah.
Right. Another one. I didn't mind Aftermath, to be honest. Thought that was pretty good. So he's had now there was one movie that came, God, like early in his acting career. I gotta remember the name of it. I haven't seen it, but a lot of people oh God. I can't remember. I got to look up the name. I'm going to Google it right now. Give me a second. Stay Hungry. That's the movie. I haven't heard it, but man, they say they thought he was very good in that movie. So it's one that I have to say I've never seen. But if you go and rank like best Schwarzenegger movies, it always comes up in like top 5. And I'm like, I've never seen it. So maybe I should, but it's very different, right? Like he's not playing some superhero or anything like that, right? He's just like a Southern boy. My understanding is so. But a lot of people have said if you go look at Arnie's ranked movies, it's usually at the top or in near the top. Erasure, another good one from Jordan. Oh yeah, it was a great movie, right?
Did you see, like, I'm sure you did, Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
I was 10 when that came out. I was so amped up because the marketing was fantastic.
No.
I did not like that movie.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great. See, the thing about Erasure that I remember was Vanessa Williams. Oh, I had such huge crush on her in that movie. God. Sexy lady in that movie. I'll tell you that right now. So, hey guys, what about Conan? Well, yes, those are good, Leonard. Conan the Barbarian, pretty damn good. Very good. So, hey guys, what about Junior when he's pregnant? I didn't see that movie. What do you mean he's pregnant? Oh, was that the one? Was he like the first man to get pregnant or something like that? Was that the premise, Cons? Did you see it?
That looks like that's the premise. Another one with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, like You know what? Hey, there's pros and cons, and obviously, I love the fact that women can, they have maybe a better connection time with their kids, but childbirth and all the other stuff that comes with it, I'll take the man side right now. So one time I'm like, I'm not switching that one out. I'll take, crushing my hand, doing whatever. That's not something I'd want to. I have no interest in wanting to say, hey, I wish I could do that. It's not one thing I want to do. I would never want it. You?
No. I witnessed
chance.
it less than a year ago. I'm like, nope. Everything Ashley had to go through, total rock star.
Yeah.
The cool that they have that bond, I suppose, but is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, that does a toll to the body. So no, I'm more than happy to be a man in that situation.
Yeah, 100%. We'll take a break. When we come back, Mark Spector will join us. We'll get to the Oil Report. Got a lot of texts coming in, and we're going to have a little fun on Order. We haven't touched a lot about the Orders, but obviously they're still a pretty big team in town, and we're talking a little bit about them. We got lots of Elks talk coming up tomorrow and Friday. So we got after Spec. Well, even with Spec, we're going to have fun little Order conversations for you on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, as we get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. If you're looking to want to fine-tune your game before next season, small area games, you can use shooting drills. You can get on the skating mill to improve your stride. You got one-on-one coaching. If you like it, you can get a membership for only $300 for the month, and that gets you 18 skates or off-ice sessions, your choice. Sign up now at 01.ca, ZERONE.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Calgary Flames have signed Martin Prospisil to a 3-year contract extension, while the Winnipeg Jets are reaching a 3-year deal with restricted free agent defenseman Dylan Samberg for $17.25 million. That'll avoid arbitration. Major League Baseball, Jays victorious over the Royals 9-8 today. They'll be off tomorrow, kicking off a weekend series with the Royals on Friday. Also, the Diamondbacks falling to the Tigers 7-2. Red Sox over the Twins 13-1. Astros beating up on the Nationals 9-1. Pirates doubled up the Giants 2-1, and it was the Mets falling to the Padres 5-0 right now. Phillies and White Sox tied at 2 apiece. So the Guardians have a 2-0 lead over the Rockies heading into the second inning. Trade deadline tomorrow. Some moves happening. John Durant going to the Phillies in exchange for Eduardo Tate, and Mick Abel going to the Minnesota Twins. You also the Mariners acquiring Caleb Ferguson from the Pittsburgh Pirates for Cheetah Martinez, and the Mets bringing in pitcher Tyler Rogers from San Fran for Blade Tidwell and Drew Gilbert. In the WNBA tonight, 3 games on the schedule. Fever taking on the Mercury at 5. At 6, you got the Wings and the Dream. Also, the Liberty taking on the Lynx, and in town, the Riverhawks in action, taking on the Night Owls after winning yesterday 5-1. First pitch set for 7 o'clock down at Remax Field. And from the CFL, Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be without starter Zach Claros, and then take on the Argos on Friday night. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Rogers Sportsnet reporter Mark Spector. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats, like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Keeping your lawn looking sharp is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital. Shop zero-turn tractors from the top brands like Toro, Country Clipper, Hustler Turf, and the battery-powered Eagle. Plus, Eagle walk-behind mowers, trimmers, air blowers, and more. Fuel the future up with proven Aspen fuel. And don't forget the Echo Pro Attachment Series with 16 attachments for almost any job. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you
just
a little
after
secret.
4
My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen. When I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob, but less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. Oh, you're probably happy, man. Getting out of work. Maybe you're going straight to a patio. It's a beautiful night out. Maybe going for a little late night swim, a bike ride, a walk, sitting on the back deck, the barbecue. Man, these are the summer nights in Alberta. They're unreal. So enjoy it tonight. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And to make it even more enjoyable, Lotto 649, $30 million in the gold ball jackpot and the classic $5 million jackpot. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. No one won the Lotto Max last night. It's up to $50 million. Woo, mama. Would that be fun? Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, specializing in underground infrastructure. Make your life easy. Running water, freeways, They do it all. GS Construction is Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. It's pretty. I'm not sure how you can do anything other than awesome on a day like this one.
It's true. This the next few days here are going to be unbelievably nice and warm. So, we'll get to the. We just had Duran got traded from the Twins. The best, probably the best closer available. He goes to the Phillies. So that's probably so far of all the deals, likely the biggest one. And there's going to be a few more. When you can see what some of the deals were today, man, what the Jays gave up yesterday for Dominguez looks like a bargain, considering what the Mets gave up to get their guy.
Well, and tomorrow's trade deadline, I know the Blue Jays don't play tomorrow, but there is games tomorrow, or do they take the whole day off?
No, there's a few games tomorrow.
They do. They are, hey? I mean, we always have that argument in hockey. They should take the whole day off.
Yeah. There's only 3, but still, I agree with you. I could make the argument that you should do it, but there are, Tampa's playing the Yankees, Atlanta's at Cincy, and Texas at Seattle.
Let my eye on the Jays today. They did get a bit of a sloppy 9-8 win, but they needed to stop the bleeding here. They've all of a sudden their pitching staff's given up a touchdown every single day. So 9 runs it took, but at least they got off the road with a win here in Baltimore, so that was good.
Oh God, no, they definitely needed it, man. There is some teams this year, Spec, they just the White Sox are awful and they can sweep the Detroit Tigers, who are first place. It's funny. The Jays, they lose 2 out of 3 to Oakland. They lose 3 out of 4 to Baltimore, and then they're crushing Detroit and the Yankees and other teams. It's just a wild year in MLB, which makes it exciting, really. It's extremely unpredictable, no question about it. But I do think the Jays here, with 23 hours left before the trade deadline, they're close. Their team is really good. I expect them to push in a few more chips.
Oh, for sure. If you're not doing it now,
when you're doing it.
When you're doing it, right? There, yeah. I believe they got a 4.5 game lead heading into action tonight on the Yankees. So listen, that's a really nice bulge of the trade deadline. Absolutely full expectation. I mean, they got a reliever yesterday, full expectation of a higher end reliever or even a starter before this deadline passes tomorrow. And I mean, come on, Shapiro and those guys, they're working at it. And, it can happen where you just get outbid. You were talking yesterday to somebody who was saying that their farm system isn't as good as others. And that means that other teams might outbid you, and it can happen, but those, I guarantee you, they're in there. Shapiro and those guys are in there pitching like crazy today, and they'll turn something up. I think the Jays will get a little bit better tomorrow. I sure hope so.
Yeah, it would be good. Now, Spec, I know it's off season, but it's always good to talk a little bit of Oilers. And when you look at it, and that you've got some expectations here. I wrote the article today because I had the AFP guys on, and I wrote about
I read that
McDavid thing, and then the expectations for Ekholm and Wallman and stuff. Like Wallman at 6.5 for 5 years. I'm like, I like Jake Wallman. He had a good playoff, but he's not going to put up the numbers he put up in the regular season last year because he's not on the power play like he was in San Jose. Right? He's not here in Edmonton, and so and I have no problem signing Wallman. But if you have Wallman and you have Ekholm and you have Nurse, you have one guy who's going to be in your third pair making at least $6 million. It's not really ideal overall, right? So obviously it's great to have good depth there, but with Brett Kulak and Wallman and Ekholm and Nurse, they'll start the season fine, but I got to think they might move one of those lefties to get a righty.
Well, I mean, would be your question. Which are you prepared? Is Jake Wallman prepared to sign here? And as a righty, say, hey, we're going to pay you a little bit more, but you're going to play the right side, or we're going to give you, whatever, and you're going to be a right side defenseman. Brett Kulak's played his share of right side. I think it's pretty fair to say that given his druthers, he'd rather stay on the left-hand side. I think most guys would. Not every guy, but most guys don't love going to the other side. So you got to do one of two things. You got to find a guy in your group who's happy to say, I think this shifting back and forth and moving a guy in and either you take a guy like Wallman and say, Wallman, you're going to be a right side defenseman from the start of the season to the end of the playoffs. You're going to figure it out over there. You're going to get a lot of work over there, and that's what you're going to be. Or B, you're going to let one of your lefties go and go find a righty somewhere. One of the two things has to happen. But it's about time to sort of make a choice, don't you think, Jay? Don't you have to commit one way or another here?
Oh yes, 100%. I think you have to, and I think to me it's kind of obvious where you're going. Now you can get through the regular season, it's no problem, but I do believe that it's it's nice to have depth. So that's why I wouldn't do it to start the season, because what if a guy gets hurt for the first 30 games or 40? You've got depth. That's no problem. But ultimately, and not only this year, but you can't, I don't think you can sign Wallman, Nurse, Ekholm, and Kulak, re-sign all of them. No, not Nurse, but the other three, knowing that, and then you're going to keep, if you're signing, you have to move someone if you're going to do it, because they need a second, like a legit second pair right defenseman who's not a left shot.
I think you do too. That's not a left shot. I agree with you. Again, unless Wallman says I can be that guy, there are guys who played their whole career in the offside, Charlie Huddy being one, that became very effective at it. So I tend to think the same way you think. I tend to think you need a righty. I also think we're jumping the gun a little bit at this. Let's sign everybody a year ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to sign everybody a year.
I agree with you.
I don't. Sure, you want to sign Connor McDavid as fast as you can because he's Connor McDavid. Guys like Evan Bouchard and guys that for sure you'll want on your team for as long as you can keep them. Yeah, sign them as fast as you can, lock them up. But I don't think that has to be the case with Wallman. Doesn't have to be the case with Ekholm. Doesn't have to be the case with Kulak. Maintain some flexibility, man. See what happens here.
Yeah, like honestly, like Matthias Ekholm's going into his 35-year-old season. I wouldn't sign him before he's 35. I want to see what he's doing, halfway. Like I can always sign Matthias Ekholm next May, next March, next April. I want to see how he's doing. I'm not, because I don't believe that how he plays entering his 36-year-old year is going to get him a massive raise unless you're signing in LA with Ken Holland.
Yeah, the way I look at Matthias Ekholm, knowing him and knowing his family, and that they're pretty happy here and probably, looking to stay here is my sense of the Ekholm market. I would say the question becomes, Jay, let's watch him play. Let's see where he is. Let's monitor, injured, if he's injured, if he's healthy. To me, we're going to sign Ekholm, but what are we signing him to play? Are we?
Sure.
Is he going to sign here, take closer to third pairing money and play less? Is he signing here as a second pairing guy? Does he knock the lights out and make me think he can play a couple more seasons with Bouchard? Let's figure out what he is. I think he's going to sign here. I think he's a smart enough, old enough guy to sign here for a proper amount of money. I don't think he's taking anyone to the cleaners, but he doesn't want to sign for third pairing money and play first pairing minutes either, nor should he. So let's figure out who we're signing, what we're signing. And I'm pretty sure Matthias Ekholm ends up signing another, 2-year deal here.
Okay. Mark Spector joined us. What about, I've had some people say, well, Podkolzin, what he is. He's not going to get better, which I always kind of chuckle at, because I look and say, look at Warren Fogle. Warren Fogle spent 6 seasons in the NHL. His career high in goals was 13. Then in year 7, he scored 20. And then last year, without McDavid or Draisaitl, he scored 24 in LA. Yep. You're telling me that Podkolzin, who was a first-round selection, who, has shown great forecheckers, got some good instincts, not the smartest player overall, but he's got good instincts, skates well, is physical. You're telling me that he can't rebound and be a 15, 16, 17 goal player in the next few years? I think he's the prime candidate for a player who has more upside than downside.
Oh, absolutely. And on this roster, you can't look at this Oilers roster and tell me you don't have room you don't have a spot for Vasily Podkolzin to play. Even if he doesn't get better than he's playing right now, if he remains the same guy, there's room for him on this roster. He's big, he's fast, he hits, he forechecks. He's only going to get smarter, even if he doesn't get a ton more productive. And I hear what you're saying with Fogle. Podkolzin could absolutely be that guy. And maybe he's not that guy. But so let's say he's just a third line winger or fourth line winger. That's fine. You need those two. And they shouldn't all be old like Janmark, like Henrique. You need younger guys coming in. So to me, like you can't pay the guy like he's done it yet because he hasn't scored 20 yet. But I got a room on my roster to figure out if Podkolzin becomes that guy. Absolutely. Why are we sending him somewhere else to figure that out? Why not do it here?
Oh God, no. I think there's a lot of potential for a player who, like he's a guy spec. I would try to sign Podkolzin this summer because I think I could sign him for less than I might sign him for next summer. Whereas Ekholm's a different one for me. Even Jake Wallman, Jake Wallman would have to have an unreal year to get more than the projected 6.5 million people think he's going to get. Right? Like he'd have to have an unreal year. So especially with Nurse and Ekholm, there's just not that many minutes to do it. So I could see that, a little bit. Now you maybe want to keep him, so whatever. But the Podkolzin, I'm like, man, if I could get Podkolzin, I would bet on a contract of 3 years right now on Vasily Podkolzin. Because at bare minimum, if all he is what he is, because people forget, Podkolzin had 10 points in 22 playoff games. For a guy who doesn't play in your power play, it's pretty solid numbers.
Every player is different. Podkolzin's on his way up. So if you can sign him early, you sign him early because you think he's going to get better. Jake Wallman is not going to get the power play time that he had in San Jose. I'm not signing Jake Wallman on a 6-year deal based on numbers that were largely accumulated somewhere else. That's not wise. And Matthias Ekholm, listen, I don't ever want to come across like I'm speaking ill of Matthias Ekholm. I think the world of this guy as a person and as a player. But the reality of it is he's nearing the end of his career, and I wait longer to sign Matthias Ekholm so that the window I'm signing him on, I've got more clarity. I want to know if he stays healthy. I want to know if he comes back from the groin injury he had last year. So every player is different, right? Then there's the McDavid. You just sign the McDavids of the world as fast as you can and for as long as you can, because there's no question that you want them. So you can't have a uniform approach for every player. That's not how you manage your team.
No, not at all. What about Stu Skinner? What would you look at a timeline, or what would you need to see from Stu Skinner to re-sign him?
Well, I'm probably re-signing them unless, there's a couple things here. What we have to remember in all these conversations is, Jason, the players have agents, and they're really smart, and they know the market. So you may come to Podkolzin and say, I'd love to sign him early. You may come to Skinner and say, I want to lock him up. And the agent goes, no, let's wait. We think we're going to have a better season. So, let's talk about Stu Skinner. Stu Skinner has taken his team to 2 Stanley Cups. We can argue how they got there, how he played, all that stuff. He's taken his team to 2 Stanley Cups. He's got a whole bunch of playoff wins, more than almost any goalie in the league, I would suggest, over the last few years.
Other than Bobrovsky.
Thank you. So his agent is saying, his agent would tell you that I'm going to wait this year and see how the year goes. Now, if the Oilers sign someone they like more, if they do find a goalie that's better, well, that's a whole different ballgame. But right now, are you telling me, with the goalie market out there, are you not re-signing Stu Skinner at some point in the later this season or next summer?
Oh yeah, I would seem very likely, right? It just because there's not a lot of 27-year-old goalies in the free agent market, right?
No.
And I don't like Stu Skinner. If he has a good year, he's not going to command crazy money for a starting goaltender, right? 5 or 6 million, which guess what? There's already 22 goalies making that much money.
Sure he is. Yep.
So that's not crazy money.
Hey, the year before last, all his numbers over the course of the regular season averaged him out to be I think it was the 6th or 7th best goalie in the NHL 2 seasons.
I know. Yeah.
Right. So if he does that again, and if his agent could look at Stan Bowman and say, in the last 3 seasons, 2 of them, my guy was like the 6th or 7th best goalie in the league. Well, then you got to pay him like the 6th or 7th best goalie in the league. That's how it works. So yeah, he's making 6.5, 7, 7.5, whatever that number is. And the cap's going up too. So you know what? You got to be careful with Stu Skinner. I feel like you've invested a lot in this guy. I feel like a 27-year-old goalie with that much experience under his belt is going to get better. I feel like if you let him go somewhere else, you're going to regret it. I like Stu Skinner. I know his flaws. I've seen every game, so you don't have to, people out there, you don't have to tell me. I know what I'm looking at too. He could use some help. Sure. Bring another guy in. Okay. Let him go somewhere else and start all over again with a new goalie. I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, there's definitely a risk because it's who are the free agent goalies to get, right?
That's
there's not like the market's not that deep.
Hey, trade him for Sorokin. Now we're talking, right? Bring in a guy who everybody in hockey would say to you, this guy's better than Skinner, and this guy's got a bunch of years left. Now let's talk. But don't be moving out Skinner and bringing in some guy who might be as good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is totally true. What about Chris Knobloch? Is a 3-year extension kind of captain obvious for him?
I think so. I mean, listen, coaches, here's what we know about coaches, Jay. The crappy ones, the middling ones, and the really good ones, it always ends the same way. They all get fired eventually, right? Like, they don't last. They all get fired. I will bet you my house that when it ends, Chris Knobloch will get fired, right, from Edmonton, and he'll go somewhere else. So a coach wants to sign for as long as he can because it's guaranteed money. A team wants to sign a coach for as short as he can because it's not on the cap, and that's just the best deal. So, yeah, I'm going to say if I'm Chris Knobloch's agent, I want 4 years or maybe 5 because I brought the team to 2 cups. If I'm the Oilers, I'm offering 3. And you know what? I'll bet you they get in the middle. I'll bet you they meet for 4 years. What do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe 4. I was going to say 3 for sure. I'm looking at goalies who are potential UFAs next summer. Sergei Bobrovsky, but he'll be 37 at that point. Jacob Markstrom would be 36. Peter Mrazek is another one. Freddie Anderson, 36 years of age.
Nope.
Nope. So there's
Right?
not a Philip Gustafson. He's an interesting one. If you get he's got to get there for sure. We'll see, but
Minnesota will keep him for sure. He's considered by Minnesota to be their goalie of the future.
Oh yeah, Fleury just retired. I don't see how they're
You're not. You got it. I guess if they totally implode on the island, maybe you can pry Sorokin out of them, but you're going to have to give him a lot of stuff, man. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, like if you're dealing Sorokin, you're asking for you're asking for a lot, man. He's one of the legit goalies in the league.
Yeah.
I think you put him on a better team where he's getting a little bit more exposure. People are like, damn, this guy's if he was in Florida, could they have won with him in Florida? Yeah, they could have.
He was in Edmonton.
Their team is really good.
Right?
Yeah, well, Edmonton, you'd have to lose guys off, right? You'd have to take $5 million. The reason I say he goes to Florida is because he actually makes less than their goalie.
Yeah, okay. Either way, I mean, Markstrom, listen, everyone in the league would tell you Markstrom's a pretty good goalie. I've seen the Oilers make him look like not a pretty good goalie. So
he's old. I'm not trading Stuart Skinner at 27 for Markstrom at 36 next summer.
No, right. So it's hard. You know what? It's hard. And I know Stan Bowman gets paid a lot of money to figure out hard. It's his job to make the goaltending department in the Edmonton Oilers better. Full stop. He's got to make it better. So I'm not saying it's easy. And the guys out there, there might not be the guy out there, Jason, but Bowman's getting paid to win a cup here. And if it's goaltending that everyone believes stands between the Oilers and a cup, then Stan Bowman's got to sharpen his pencil, get to work, and find a better goalie somewhere, somehow. And that's his job, right? That's his job.
Yep. Totally agree. Spec, great stuff, buddy. Have yourself a lovely day on the deck tonight, evening on the deck, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Jay.
There you go. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Some thoughts. What would you do on the Edmonton Oilers? Would you sign Ekholm to an extension now or wait? So if we look at it, that's the question. 833-401-1440. Ekholm, sign extension now. So he's entering the final year of his deal, UFA. Walman, final year of his deal, UFA. Kulak, final year of his deal, UFA. Skinner, final year of his deal, UFA. Podkolzin, final year, but he's an RFA. So he's a little bit different, right? Obviously, there's McDavid. I think everybody agrees you're signing him as quick as you can. I understand it. But Ekholm, Walman, Kulak, and Skinner, what would you do if you're the GM? 833-401-1440. Resign, and at what term? I'll be very curious. We'll have a little fun. We'll let you be GM. Here, you can call us or text us 833-401-1440.
Sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Reports suggest the Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999. It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals, and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select major kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Hoop City 3x3 Festival takes over the Ice Palace at West Edmonton Mall from July 31st to August 3rd. See professionals and Olympians battle for ranking points and cash prizes in 3 different FIBA 3x3 events. Free admission. Details at sports1440.ca.
Hey everybody, it's Team Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen. When I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob, but less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
And that's NoBull.
NoBullRV.ca.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2. Or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:28, rolling through a busy Wednesday afternoon. We got a lot of text. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. You can email us in our inbox or give us a call. Play a little fun GM for you in the summertime. We're nearing the end of July. August seems like could be the contract extension for theirs. Well, technically, it's not extending the existing one. It's a new contract, but either way, could re-sign some players. Connor McDavid, I think that's a lock. I've said it all along that McDavid was going to sign. The only question comes down to term. 1 year, if we're going to think really creative, up to a max of 8 years, which I think probably unlikely when you consider the increase in the salary cap significantly. So probably sits somewhere in the middle, maybe of a 4-year deal. We'll see. But then there's Jake Wallman, Matthias Ekholm, Brett Kulak, Stuart Skinner, all some other pending UFAs next summer. What would you do? Hey, guys, I know this isn't going to be popular, but I would trade Ekholm for a right shot D-man and just run with the other 3 guys. I think he's getting too old, and we need to upgrade the right side more than we need to worry about keeping him on the left side at his age. And that one comes from Brett. I think it's a valid point. Hey, guys, is the 3 times $4 million reasonable contract for Ekholm? I would do that. It's an interesting question because you got to remember his contract when it kicked. Now, his current contract is actually $6.25 million. The Oilers are paying 6 of it. Nashville's still paying the other $250K. So remember, 6.25. He'll be 36 when his new deal kicks in. And because of the season he came off of, where, you know what, obviously he came back in the final and hadn't played basically the entire playoffs and down the stretch, and obviously had a nagging injury. So the organization would know exactly what his health was. But because he was coming off of that, my question is, what's the rush? So, Brad, if he was willing to sign 3 times 4, I would actually be okay with that. Because I'm like, well, even if he's slowing down, if he's $4 million player and he's in our third pair in a few years, that's what a third pair defenseman is going to make, in 2 or 3 seasons. That's just going to how it's going to be. So I don't have much of an issue with that at all. So I would strongly consider that, no question. So, but if he's looking for a 2-year deal, I'm not going much higher than that just because of age. He was never the fleetest of foot. He's an incredibly smart player. I think that Matthias Ekholm's positioning, strength, everything's got a good shot. Like, there's lots I like about his game. But why wouldn't I want to see him say, okay, he's back to normal? Because age, whether we like it or not, it's a factor, right? Like, it's a factor. So, hey, guys, ideally just have Wallman and Ekholm swap contracts, but Ekholm's probably going to get more than that. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get the 3.4 of Wallman for sure. But I see your theory, and I think it makes a lot of sense, Lance. I understand, like, they kind of swap, right? One guy goes from higher to the lower. Makes sense. I get it. So, hey, boys, the one guy that I wouldn't extend right away is actually Brett Kulak. I need to see where he's going. Although, if you do extend him, do you think that makes his trade value easier? Well, if he extends, I'm guessing Brett Kulak's asking for some sort of no movement clause in his contract. That's kind of how it is for guys, when you play a certain timeline. And like, Brett Kulak has been pretty consistent. Like, I think he's been a very good contract for the Edmonton Oilers at 2.75. No one complains ever about Kulak's contract. Probably being underpaid, really, when you consider the minutes he plays and stuff. So I don't have I wouldn't, if I'm signing and he's not signing like no movement clause things, then yeah, sure. I do agree with you, because then the team acquiring him knows, hey, I'm getting Brett Kulak for this year and multiple years after, guaranteed. You always hope that you can get the guy and then re-sign him, but this way you're getting it 100%. So, guys, groin injuries are concerned. For a defense who's not fleet of foot, I wouldn't re-sign Ekholm until I see 30 or 40 games. That one comes from Douglas. Hey, Gregor, what about signing Ekholm, Wallman, and Carlson, and then the rumored deal Nurse for Carlson? Yeah, where is that rumored? By anybody? Like, it's online. And today is another great day to remind people, like, you should stop following accounts that just make up stuff. There's the accounts now today. Oh, like, it's all AI generated garbage. stating how Connor McDavid is going to be a father. And oh yeah. And then you go look at it. It's not Connor McDavid. It's an AI photo. So come on, right? Nobody of substance has suggested Carlson for Darnell Nurse. Nowhere. Right? It's not. I can tell you that the Oilers and there's been no, hey, do you want to waive your no move clause conversation from Edmonton? None. And Darnell Nurse wouldn't agree to a trade to go from Edmonton to Pittsburgh at this stage of his career. Pittsburgh's going nowhere. He has no movement clause. Why would he do that? Right? There's zero reason to do it. And I would suggest always look at some of those groups that are on Facebook that people follow. I don't really understand why you follow them, because they're just like, nowadays they just make up AI pictures and make it like it's a story. And it's like fake stories all the time. Like there was one about, Connor McDavid was helping out flood victims in Mississippi. And because they superimposes, they make some AI picture and people were like, oh my God, that's unbelievable. Like, yeah, it's unbelievable because it didn't happen. So. Hey guys, I like your thoughts on Podkolzin because of his age, and I think you can get a lower AAV for a guy who has a potential to outperform it. Meanwhile, maybe I'm in the minority, but I'm not as sold on Jake Wallman as people talking about $6.5 million. Well, the cap has gone up, and so what used to be 5 is probably now 6.5 in a lot of cases, realistically. Not everyone, but in a lot, yeah. So, like Jake Wallman, there's lots you like about his game. But here's the thing. His numbers that he put up last year, because in free agency, numbers matter, right? Especially when your numbers are off. Like time on ice is a big one, and production. Because I know in arbitration, they rule for that. Now, he's an unrestricted free agent, but points do matter. And there's no question about it. But is Jake Wallman going to get the points that he had last year this coming season? I'd be surprised. Only because if you look at San Jose, where he put up like really good numbers on a bad team, but he put up good numbers. Now he was playing lots of minutes in San Jose. And what did he have? 32 points in 50 games? Right now, he didn't have a ton on the power play. That's the good news. He only had, I think, 6 or 7. So, but it's a lot of even strength points. He was playing 23 minutes in San Jose. Now in Edmonton, now granted, it was the regular season, so he didn't play a whole bunch, and he still played like 20 minutes, right? But Ekholm was when he was in, Ekholm was out, right? Nurse was out, so that that impacts it for sure. So I'd be curious now. Jake Wallman, Edmonton does have more top to bottom offense than San Jose, and he can move the puck. We saw some of his unreal passes last year. And so maybe they look and say, hey, we think this guy can pop again here because lots of his points were 5-on-5. But Darnell Nurse is a pretty good 5-on-5 point producer. Evan Bouchard's pretty good. Like, you can't have all of them unless you think your team's going to suddenly score way more, which would be great. But in order for the D-men to get more points, usually your forwards got to finish more. That's just, unless your D-men suddenly all scoring 15 goals, which doesn't seem to happen, right? It's just, I don't get it. We'll take our final break, and there's one story. Like, I am so sick and tired of people who try to play the victim when they were the person who did everything wrong. And Bev Priestman is now at the top of the list, claiming I didn't feel safe. It was difficult for my family. It was a media frenzy. That's why she had to get out of Canada. What is she talking about? Media frenzy. You know what? Her calling it a media frenzy is similar to the people that see a scrum in hockey where everybody's on the ice and they all mill around. Everyone's like, did you see the brawl in hockey? I'm like, a brawl is when the gloves are off and they're throwing. That's a brawl. A scrum is a hug fest. Her calling that a media frenzy and say, oh, I had to get out and really taking no onus at all on what she did was wrong. Trying to downplay it. Oh, I had some things in my life. Oh, give me a break. You cheated. You thought it was good. You told your players to cheat and you got caught. Full stop. Absolute joke that you're going to try to. The reason I left was it was a media frenzy. Why were even anybody, and by the way, it wasn't a media frenzy, but why were people talking about you, Bev? Because you cheated in arguably some of the dumbest ways in sports history, right? Hey, let's make sure we fly a drone in a drone-free zone at the Olympics. Like, you couldn't be more stupid. But now you're going to, I had to get out of the country. It's unsafe. Yeah, great. What great more. Nowhere ever has she said, man, I really got caught up and made some real poor decisions. Not once. You know who owned up for their stupidity more than her, Connor? The guy at Alberta Springs gets in a fight in the golf course, comes out in media and says, you know what? Geez, that was really bad of me. Pretty stupid. Don't do it. And guess what? Everyone's like, yeah, you're right. Don't do it. Okay, it's all good. Bev Priestman, oh no, I'm the victim. Oh, geez, all my cheating, it wasn't me. And then there's a media frenzy. Give me a break. And the fact that she's coaching already again just illustrates the problem that some people are so quickly to want to erase garbage like that. Like, give me a break. But I thought, whatever, bad decision. Now I have no time for Bev Priestman. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman. Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Spell Legacy without AC. Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us.
Redeemable once per Play Alberta account.
Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian, and support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today, because it's time to be the man you remember.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today. actionelectrical.net.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.544. You know what's cool about this song? I know a few teams. This used to be when they would go on a road trip. They had like a tape, and they would play that song all the time when they got it. Just got kind of the boys into it. They're like, you do fun things, man. Like that's being part of a team. Cool things like that are some of the things you miss that you always remember. Like a certain song comes on, like, dude, like everybody's on a good mood. You're leaving on the road trip. You have somebody. There's usually one guy or girl on every team who's like your dedicated music person. They take it very serious. They're very good at it. And otherwise they get booted out, and they just come up with some great tunes, whether it's in the room, whether it's before the game, whether it's after the game, whether it's on the bus. It's unreal. They're very important for a team, and most teams have had one. Every team I ever played on, when we had one, there was always a guy who I was never me, which was fine. It wasn't my thing, but I always liked music. And there's just certain songs that get you going. I love it. Let's continue on with the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars. Edmonton Discover's Day sales event. You got final few days left. You can lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Great vehicles, better service. Volvo Cars, Edmonton.com. Hey, boys, the snowbirds are flying around downtown. Yeah, it's unreal right now. Get outside, look outside, right? If you're driving, like, hey, maybe pull over. Don't just suddenly start gawking out the window and hit a curb. You don't want to do that, but check it out. Hey, boys, if Ekholm was likely to sign a 2-year deal at 4.5, I'd be willing to do it, but unlikely, so I'd wait to see how he performs. Why sign a guy that may have hit the wall unless it's at a low cap hit on a short-term deal? I would consider signing Wallman to an extension at 6.5 times 5. Like your article states, because they need to replace Ekholm as the best left shot D-man on the team. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is wait and see out of Kulak or Ekholm who plays better and decide which one you want to keep. Wallman looks like a no-brainer. To me, letting him get to free agency would be a big risk. That one comes from Eric, and I would agree with lots of that. Lots of it. Hey, Gregor, with Wallman, Ekman, and unmovable Nurse, why aren't we just trading Kulak for decent value? Him, Emerson, Picks, and someone else might do it. From old Gil. Well, Ty Emerson ain't getting you any value, really. Brett Kulak, Ty Emerson, they're not getting you a second pair D-man right now, and even at the deadline, Brett Kulak would have some value, no question, but I don't think you're getting a second pair right defenseman for. So that, you know what? I think Brett Kulak, he's a really good player. He's a local guy, unbelievable human being. And so, to me, he's an ideal third pair left defenseman. He has done nothing wrong his whole time in Edmonton. And so, even at that, we just say, do I re-sign Ekholm, who's going to cost me way more at 36, or would I re-sign Kulak? I could make an argument. When you're looking at depth chart, if you think that you got Wallman and Nurse, and then you're going to have Kulak, right now, who would have more trade value? If you're looking at big picture, now someone say, Gregor, can't trade Ekholm, and you're probably right. But last year, I think it has to raise our antenna a little bit. He's 35. So it raises your antenna. It doesn't mean you dislike the player. It's just to me as a manager, and we talked to Stan about this before. The one thing that Stan will have experience is learning not to fall in love too much with the personalities of your players for what they've done for you. It's just really hard to do. So, look back at Chicago. If they would have let go of some of those guys, maybe they would have taken, that 7 or 8 millions from some of them and retooled with other players. Right? It could have, not saying it would have solved all their problems, but maybe they would have been able to retool on the fly and stay competitive rather than just tank. Because really, since they won the Cup in 2015, it has not been a good decade for the Chicago Blackhawks. Right now, Taves' injury sure played a part in it, but Hossa got older. Duncan Keith got older. Although, the key trade actually wasn't a bad trade at all for either team. I actually like that trade for Edmonton, despite, remember all the people upset about the Duncan Keith trade? Like, it was actually a really good trade, right? It's a really good trade. But, the Seabrook contract, some other guys they signed there, it didn't work out. So now's the time that if you are Stan Bowman, you have to remember that, yeah, I like this guy, but there's the reality of age and the role it plays in building your team. This is where I believe you have to have a Bill Belichick approach, Connor Halley. The one thing that Bill Belichick did was he never fell too much in love with his older guys who weren't producing.
Yeah, I mean, and that was kind of the calling card of his team for a long time. Like, he would rather lose a player a year early than a year late. If he had to move on from you, cut you, trade you, whatever it might be, it wasn't 100% accurate, but it kind of seemed like that was the end of your career. You weren't going to be playing much longer.
Yeah, and that's just, like, he just got rid of some guys. And I also think sometimes there's, and I'm not saying that's the case with the Oilers by any stretch of imagination, right? But I just do think that there are times where you fall in love with some players and just, to keep things fresh and exciting, that you have to move on from some players. And I do think in the next few years, the key for Edmonton, because if you look at historically now, go back to just guys in the new eras, even in the 2000s. Look at Joe Sakic and how he aged. Didn't he have 100 points at 37? Right? Look at how Sidney Crosby's aging. Right? Look at Nick Lidstrom. Like, we're talking great, great players, which is what Connor McDavid is. It's what Leon Draisaitl is. And Leon Draisaitl, this is the first year of an 8-year deal. Do I think Leon Draisaitl knows 8 years is going to be a good contract? Going to be a good player? Yeah, I do. 100% I do. I think same thing for Connor McDavid. So I would believe you still got 8 years. Now, there's not a lot of other guys that are older, right, in the 30s that I think are going to age like that. Not at all, because they're not elite. Right? Evan Bouchard's young. He's not in that category. I'm not worried about his contract at all. But there will be some decisions where players that you really liked for a while, you're going to look and it's probably easier because as much as you like some players, most fans like McDavid and Draisaitl a little bit more, and I totally understand why. So, I look at the Oilers and I'll be fascinated to see, but this is kind of the first little test, Connor, of if you keep older players, then if they're older and they're not elite, they can't be getting big bucks. They just can't.
Yeah, I'm with you. Matthias Ekholm is going to be the poster child for that. And like you said, with the whole Bill Belichick thing, like, for that reason, I'm in no rush to get that deal done. And if it's shorter term, maybe, but I really want to see in, the first 5 months of the season, we get into the spring, how has he played? How has he rebounded from the injury? If there's confidence there, they're going to know better than anyone else whether or not the extension should be, 2-3 seasons. But for me, there's no rush to do so. It seems like he likes the city, likes the organization, would be open to staying. I don't think you have to rush it. You got to do your in-depth analysis and see how he's playing before you really make that decision.
Yeah. So, not it's an interesting one because now you're over halfway through the offseason. I know for the Oilers it's a little bit shorter, but if you look at the NHL, right, half of your teams ended April 15th. They're in this now. You're nearing the end. Like, training camps are 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away. It's great. So now you got to start looking a little bit more at next season, which will be awesome. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, look what the Leafs did with Tavares. Yeah, Jason, great example. Right? His last contract, I never liked. I don't think he lived up to it. But this contract, he's got an opportunity to be an absolute killer deal for the Leafs. He got huge money, so he's kind of making up for it now. But that is a great example. Huge killer deal. Didn't want to go anywhere, wanted to stay. And that's when, if a guy's true about it, then you get them to stay. Don't say, oh, Ekholm wants to stay. We're signing him 2 years at 6.5. I wouldn't do it. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I am Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a lovely Wednesday evening. Enjoy the heat, boys and girls. We haven't had a real hot July, but it's going to end nice, which is awesome. So get outside, walking, biking, relaxing, and barbecuing. Enjoy the heat tonight. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, innovative market leader. Of course, they got the Saints, they got the Thunderbirds, the new female Super League, always looking to improve hockey at all levels at Silent Ice. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
A couple of signings in the NHL today. Flames bringing back Martin Pospisil on a 3-year extension, while the Jets have signed restricted free agent defenseman Dylan Sandberg to a 3-year deal worth $17.25 million to avoid arbitration. Major League Baseball today, Jays get past the Orioles 9-8. They'll be off tomorrow before kicking off a weekend set in Toronto against the Royals. Elsewhere, the Tigers over the Diamondbacks 7-2. Mets lost the Padres 5-0, and it was the Pirates over the Giants 2-1. Right now, Guardians lead the Rockies 3-0 midway through the sixth. The White Sox have a 9-2 lead over the Phillies. Rays up on the Yankees 1-0, and the Dodgers trail the Reds 1-0 in the top of the fourth. Later this evening, Angels taking on the Rangers, and the Mariners in Sacramento for a meeting with the Athletics. Trades happening today as the deadline approaches. New York Mets busy. They acquire Ryan Heltley for Jesus Baez. Nate Dome from St. Louis Cardinals, also bringing in pitcher Tyler Rogers from the Giants. You have the Mariners acquiring Caleb Ferguson for Gino Martinez from the Pirates, and the Minnesota Twins sending Johan Duran to the Phillies in exchange for catcher Eduardo Tate and Mick Abel. In town tonight, Riverhawks in action, taking on the Night Owls once again after winning yesterday 5-1. First pitch just after 7 o'clock down at Remax Field. And in the WNBA, one game going on right now. No Caitlin Clark, but the Fever lead the Mercury 47-45. Later on, you get the Wings and Dream and Liberty and Lynx. Both those games get going at 6. And from the CFL, Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be without starting quarterback Zach Collaros when they take on the Argos on Friday night. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carries. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.